Chapter 730. Wu Huifei, who thought that she had come in a very secretive way, walked and watched. She felt that it was indeed better than seeing it on the model. Now, what she wanted to do the most was to get to the place immediately. Only when Dai Hospital and Empress Wang were not prepared could she get more real information. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also arrived at Baoxing County at this time. On the way, they saw many people widening the narrow places and flattening the wide places. The stones and sand were all found from nearby places. The people were really sweating. Some people even specially made mung bean soup for them. This was not a salary. They just wanted to make their county more beautiful. The only compensation was that the first 20 days of their work counted as the court's work, but after that, it did not count. After all, this was not a task sent by the court. If it was not a task sent by the court, it usually could not continue to be exempted from rent and tax. If it was Sanshui County in the past, it would be exempted. At that time, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family were not famous, and the people in the county did not have a good life. They could not pay too much rent and tax. However, at this time, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were in charge of one area. Everyone in the court knew that Baoxing County would pay a lot of rent and tax this year. If it was exempted again, the loss would not be small. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's unique logo on the car let the people working immediately know who had arrived. They were originally worried that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would not come after they left. Now, they were even happier. Wherever the team arrived, the people there would stop and greet them. If I had known, I would have made an open car. Then, I could wave and say hello all the way. Zhang Xiaobao opened the car door and said to the people outside. Wang Wan waved her hand at the other side and said, "Don't talk nonsense. This is a normal thing, but when it comes from your mouth, it feels like you're belittling it. When you get to the county, don't forget to praise He Wei and tell him where he's going. He'll stay in Yaozhou for 2 years before being transferred to the capital." Well, Yaozhou is good. Unfortunately, my father can't be the governor there. I don't know if Li Linfu will come back to find us. After driving for a while, the road became more spacious. When Zhang Xiaobao could no longer see the commoners, he closed the car door, pulled back, and began to talk about Li Linfu. If he's willing to come, then so be it. If he's not willing to come, then I'll save myself the trouble. I don't want to see his hypocritical smile. Wang Wan also closed the car door. She poured some juice, put a piece of ice in it, and sucked it up with a small bamboo tube. "Young master, young lady, there's a letter from the capital. It's for the two of you. Master asked me to come and deliver it to you." A shout came from the back of the group, accompanied by the sound of horse hooves. The carriage didn't need to stop. The person came to the side and delivered the letter to Zhang Xiaobao. Then, he turned the horse around and went back. When he saw the envelope, it turned out to be from Gao Lisher. He quickly opened the letter. Zhang Xiaobao skimmed through it and handed it to Wang Wan. He said, "It's a letter from my godfather. He said that Wu Huifei left the capital and went to Dai Hospital in Huaiyuan County. She was very low-key. He asked us to be careful and not let Empress Wang and Wu Huifei fight." At this time, Wang Wan also finished reading the letter. She threw it aside and said, "Let's go." No one stopped her. She probably wants to see how Empress Wang is doing. This person's scheming is extraordinary. Unfortunately, she can't control us. If I had known earlier, I would have let Dai Hospital take her money. There's only one empress in the palace. I don't want money, but there are many concubines. If any one of them wants to eat and live for free, I won't do it. If she dares to make trouble for me there, Xiaobao, you can deal with her. I support you. You can deal with her. Why do you have to do it with me? No, I can't let her eat and live for free there. I have to write a letter and send it. No matter what, she is a favored concubine. If I don't make use of her, I will feel sorry for myself." Zhang Xiaobao suddenly remembered an important matter. He quickly took out a pen and ink and began to write. He gently dried it and asked someone to send it to Dai Hospital as soon as possible. The weather became hotter. Wu Huifei who didn't eat lunch, also heard the protest of her stomach. She asked when they would arrive. She heard that there was still an hour. Thinking that the food there was better than the snack she brought, she decided to endure. An hour passed very quickly for some people, but for someone as hungry as Wu Huifei, it seemed slow. The more she thought about it, the hungrier she became. In order to eat more, Wu Huifei only drank water. Just when she felt that she couldn't bear it anymore, the group finally arrived at the sanatorium. The outermost fence blocked the group's way. Wu Huifei has come in person. Why aren't you welcoming her? Wu Huifei's guard leader urged his horse forward and shouted to the people guarding there. The people here acted as if they didn't know that Wu Huifei was coming. Someone immediately ran back to report, looking slightly flustered. Seeing this, Wu Huifei was happy. It didn't take long for a group of people to come out and greet her. A young man standing at the front stepped forward and said, "I didn't know that concubine Hui would be here, so the preparations were rushed. Please forgive me. I am the person in charge of the sanatorium. My surname is Zhang. Concubine Hui, please move aside." "Manager Zhang, have you arranged a place? I heard that there is a Four Seasons house here that is not bad. Is there anyone staying there?" Wu Huifei knew that this was a servant of the Zhang family. She guessed that it would be difficult for him. In reply to Wu Huifei, Empress Wang has always been staying in Four Seasons house. If Wu Huifei wants a similar place, there is a Shanshui Square not far from here. It is not easy for people to stay there. Manager Zhang answered respectfully. He meant that he wanted to arrange for Wu Huifei to stay in Shanshui Square. All right, then let's go to Shanshui Square. But it's better to see Sister Wang first. Lead the way. Wu Huifei didn't insist on going to Four Seasons house this time. She didn't dare to say that concubines were inferior to empresses. That would be inviting trouble. The group then split up. Some went to rest elsewhere, while the rest entered the sanatorium and headed towards Four Seasons house. There were too many people, and they couldn't possibly move all of them. "Empress, she's here. Her Highness Concubine Hui is here. Let me help you put on your clothes. Please sit here and wait. Let her greet you and take her down a notch." Upstairs, Xiaozhu had already seen Wu Huifei's group through the binoculars and told Empress Wang. If it was in the past, Empress Wang would have done so. After all, she was the empress. Usually, she would not be able to control Wu Huifei. But now, Empress Wang had learned so many tricks here. Oh, it was the way of communication. She would definitely not do what Xiaozhu said. She didn't wear her own clothes that showed her status, but just a casual outfit. After tidying up a little, she personally led people downstairs to welcome her. Wu Huifei was prepared to greet Empress Wang when she met her. At most, Empress Wang would say a few harsh words, and it would be over after a while. Similarly, she didn't wear her own clothes that showed her status. When the carriage stopped outside Empress Wang's courtyard, she alighted and stepped on the carpet as she walked towards the small building. At this moment, she had witnessed the charm of Four Seasons house. It was much better than the palace. Before she could go downstairs to let someone report, she saw the door open. Empress Wang led a group of people out to welcome her. "Sister Wang, why did you come out personally? What should little sister do?" Wu Huifei was stunned, thinking that something was not right. The other party should have stayed upstairs and asked her to meet her. Why was she here? She hurriedly walked forward to greet her, looking flattered. Empress Wang's eyes suddenly reddened, and she quickly walked forward to welcome her, saying, "I was a little unwell a few days ago, so I came here. I've been here for so many days, but I couldn't see you. Sister Wu, I had strange thoughts. Knowing that you were here today, how could I stay upstairs? You haven't eaten lunch yet, have you? Servants, quickly prepare a meal for concubine Huifei. Choose the best. If you neglect anything, be careful of your head," Empress Wang said to Wu Huifei, then ordered the servants to make the arrangements. When the two of them were standing not far away, Empress Wang's tears fell. She didn't wipe them away, but looked at Wu Huifei happily and said softly, "Sister, come here. You must be tired. It's hot outside, come in with me." As she spoke, She took Wu Huifei's arm and walked toward the small building, not giving Wu Huifei a chance to say anything. Wu Huifei blinked hard and turned her head to look at Empress Wang. After looking at her carefully, she confirmed that this was really Empress Wang and not a fake. With an unnatural smile on her face, she said to Empress Wang, "Younger sister also misses elder sister. How is elder sister doing here? It's said that day hospital is the best in the world. If you're a cover, why don't you go back with me? You can go on blind dates every day." Good, I'll be fine soon. Day hospital is actually a little worse. The real good is the medical school. The best doctors do research there. They only look at things that the people in the hospital can't handle. I estimate that I can go back by autumn this year. At that time, I can learn more music, painting, and poetry with you every day. Empress Wang didn't wipe her tears until now. She held Wu Huifei's hand tightly, as if she was afraid that Wu Huifei would fly away. "Then I hope that you can go back soon. Are you used to living here?" Wu Huifei asked with concern as she followed Empress Wang upstairs. Only she knew how she felt now. Her opponent had changed. She was no longer the Empress Wang who mingled with the palace, maids in the palace, and didn't care about her identity. At the same time, she had become more difficult to deal with. "Wang Wan, look at what you've done. You've turned a careless person into such a smooth person. How am I supposed to deal with her now? How did she change? Could it be that there's someone here to teach her?" Thinking like this, Wu Huifei's mood was very complicated. She accidentally touched Empress Wang's hand again and suddenly found that Empress Wang, a woman from a military family, was even more tender than her own. She pressed her hand against Empress Wang's body and felt endless tenderness, as if she had no bones. With this feeling, Wu Huifei's heart skipped a beat. She looked at Empress Wang's face again. She seemed to be very shy, not as tough as before. This is a big threat. Day hospital can actually turn a person like this. How did they do it? Why have I never heard of it before? Could it be that it was specially made for Empress Wang? Wu Huifei, who was shocked in her heart, could only ask Empress Wang, "What do you use to deal with your troubles here?" "Ah, what else can it be? It's swimming, playing basketball, bathing often, and using a special mixture of milk bubbles. If you have nothing to do, you read books, play the piano with others, and then you learn to do needlework. Everything else is fine, but it's troublesome when it comes to eating. You're not allowed to be picky about the food here, and you're not allowed to eat too little or too much. The most comfortable time is to soak in a hot spring and let someone give you a massage. It's said that it's good for the skin, and it can also relax the body and relieve fatigue. Usually, you'll fall asleep while massaging." Empress Wang was happy in her heart and was even more grateful to Cuckoo. Thinking carefully, she even suspected that Cuckoo deliberately helped her when she needed help the most and began to make up for her shortcomings. Otherwise, how could she make such arrangements? When there was a chance in the future, she must repay Cuckoo well. Empress Wang thought so, and Wu Huifei also thought so. This Empress Wang didn't deliberately come here to hide, but to accumulate strength and wait for a stable position when she returned. She could use so many good things. It must be Cuckoo's arrangement. Good Cuckoo, it seems that you did it deliberately. It's not a coincidence at all. Everything that Empress Wang lacks is taught here. Why didn't I know about the special mixture of milk? Hating Wang Wan, Wu Huifei said to Empress Wang, "I'm new here, and there are many things that I haven't seen. I wonder if you can take me to have a look?" "Why not? In this case, we'll have to eat upstairs. Let's go to the hot spring and talk while soaking in the hot spring. How about that?" When they reached the third floor, Empress Wang turned around and led Wu Huifei downstairs. They came to the hot spring together. The hot spring was steaming. After Wu Huifei, who had been rushing all the way, entered the hot spring, she really felt comfortable all over. She took the aperitif wine handed by Empress Wang, took a sip, and let out a long breath. "Sister, you're living a good life. I can't soak in the hot spring every day. If I can be as free as an ordinary girl, I don't have to worry about other things. Then I can soak in the hot spring every day. I'm sorry to make you laugh. Right, ordinary girls can't soak in the hot spring because it's too expensive. Sister, you're wrong. As long as ordinary girls come here, they can also soak in the hot spring, but not in this yard. There's also a good place on Yaowang Mountain, where the price is cheap. The rich have their own places, and the poor have their own places. Especially the locals, they don't need money to see a doctor, and they also don't need money to go sightseeing. How can the Zhang family and the Wang family let the people in the place that they have governed live a bad life? If all the officials can live like this, the people of the Tang Empire will be happy. Empress Wang said to Wu Huifei as she held the water and poured it on herself. Wu Huifei didn't want to hear about the affairs of the Zhang family and the Wang family now. The better they did, the more uncomfortable she felt. So she found fault with them and said, "Sister, you're right. But I'm thinking, since we are all people of the Tang Empire, why can only the local people enjoy it and not the people in other places? Isn't that favoritism?" "Sister, what you said is exactly what I'm thinking. When I have time, I'll write a letter to ask them not to look down on the people in other places. How about you help me write a letter?" Empress Wang followed Wu Huifei's words and didn't argue with her at all. Maybe it was the pressure of the water or the high temperature, but Wu Huifei suddenly felt that it was hard to breathe. She looked at Empress Wang and didn't say anything. Then she closed her eyes and waited for the food to come. It didn't take long for the food to be delivered. The two of them didn't have to come out of the pool either. The food was placed on a floating board so that Wu Huifei could eat while soaking in the water. Wu Huifei tasted a few dishes and nodded, as expected of the ability to become famous. The taste is not bad. Compared to the palace, it has its own uniqueness. I think the Four Seasons house where Sister lives is not bad. I wonder how it feels to live there. Actually, it doesn't feel much. It's about the same. How about this? When we go back, I'll give this place to you. Sister, you can change to another place. You can't just come here once and not know what the Four Seasons house looks like. There's a skating rink in the Four Seasons house. Sister, you can go skating there. It's very interesting. Empress Wang had already eaten. She picked up a fruit on the board and bit it. After hearing Wu Huifei's words, she was ready to give up the Four Seasons house. Wu Huifei shook her head repeatedly. That won't do. Since this place is good, sister, you can stay here. If people know that you gave up the place when sister came, they would say that sister is unreasonable. Wu Huifei didn't expect Empress Wang to be willing to give up the place. If it was in the past, it would have been a dream. However, the more Empress Wang acted like this, the more pressure Wu Huifei felt. Humans were not afraid of their opponents being rash, but they were afraid of their opponents knowing how to endure. That was the hardest to deal with. Looking at it now, Empress Wang seemed to have learned a lot. Wu Huifei was worried that others would gossip about her taking over the Four Seasons house, but she also hoped that she could take over. This way, she could raise her status and make many people who didn't support her to her side. How could Empress Wang not see through Wu Huifei's thoughts? She smiled and said, "Sister, what are you saying? Is there a distinction between sister and sister? It's settled then. Sister will stay in the Four Seasons house for a few days. After you leave, sister will come back." "It's not a big deal. Thank you, sister." Wu Huifei already had such a plan. Seeing that Empress Wang insisted, she went along with it. The two of them started to talk like sisters. If someone who didn't know the situation saw this, they would definitely think that everyone in the palace was so easy to talk to. The two of them talked until the sky turned dark. They even got someone to give them a massage. They only parted at night. Wu Huifei would go to the Mountain River house first tonight. Tomorrow, she would move to the Four Seasons house. After sending Wu Huifei off, Empress Wang let out a long breath. She felt hungry again, so she ordered someone to send her some snacks. She would eat supper at night. She sat there and said to Xiaozhu, "It's so tiring. I don't know how so many concubines of the Gong family survived. I only accompanied them for half a day, but it felt like I ran dozens of miles." Empress Wang is amazing. If it was in the past, Empress Wang wouldn't be like this. Empress Wang, you must persevere. Once you get used to it, you won't have to worry about getting into trouble. Your servants will also enjoy the benefits. Xiao Zhu was very satisfied with Empress Wang's performance today. The accelerated training of the Zhang family and Wang family was indeed amazing. Okay, for you all, I will persevere, but only when there are outsiders. Normally, I will not do it. I have to be like before, playing and having fun. Empress Wang also felt that her performance today was okay. She didn't have a bad temper. She knew that the other party wanted her to die early, but she endured it. This way, she wouldn't have to worry about being cheated when she returned to the palace in the future. However, she heard from Wu Huifei today that she wasn't very happy about. Zhang Shua actually went against Xiaobao and Wang Wan, and was schemed against by Xiaobao and Cuckoo. This wasn't good. The next morning, Empress Wang was indeed going to change places. However, it wasn't the Mountain River House that Wu Huifei thought was second only to the Four Seasons House, but Yaowang Mountain. There was a place for recuperation on the mountain, but it had never been open to the public. It seemed that other than the emperor, only the members of the Zhang family and Wang family could go there. It was said that the place was better than the Four Seasons House, but no one had ever personally experienced it. After hearing this news, Wu Huifei, who was happy the whole night, lost her good mood. No wonder Empress Wang gave up the place. It turned out that there was a better place to go. Damn you, Wang Wan, just you wait. Wu Huifei thought bitterly in her heart as she brushed her teeth with a toothpaste and toothbrush that Wang Wan had given her. Empress Wang didn't expect this either. She thought that she should move to the Mountain River House, but when she mentioned it in the morning, the person in charge immediately said that there was another place to go at Yaowang Mountain. He also said that a pigeon flew here in the early hours of the morning with a letter from the young master and young lady. Since there was already an arrangement, Empress Wang naturally wouldn't reject it. She put her gratitude in her heart and led the team to Yaowang Mountain. It would take more than half a day to reach Yaowang Mountain from here. On the way, Xiao Zhu said excitedly to Empress Wang, "Empress, it's still young Lady Cuckoo who is on your side." She knew that Miss Wu would come and snatch your place, so she quickly sent a letter. Yaowang Mountain, I've only heard of that place at the top, but I've never seen it for myself. This time, young Lady Cuckoo has put in a lot of money. I heard that the swimming pool there is better than other places. It's the kind that looks like you're about to fall in, but you can't. If you stick your head out, you can see how the water flows down. When the time comes, you have to follow me closely. Don't fall in accidentally. Your swimming skills aren't as good as mine. How could you fall in? I think the Zhang family and Wang family will make arrangements. They won't let anyone be in danger. That place should be prepared for the emperor or the two families. This time, I went there and took a courtyard. Why do I feel that this cuckoo is closer to me than my biological daughter? I feel that other families' biological daughters are just SOSO. Many of them can't even compare to Cuckoo. Empress Wang, who had no children, started to treat Wang Wan as her biological daughter to make up for the regret in her heart. Chapter 731. After Empress Wang moved away, Wu Huifei moved into Four Seasons House. She did not look happy at all. She felt that she had been set up. She had originally planned to ask Empress Wang to move to Four Seasons House. Although some people would think that she had gone overboard, it was not important as long as she could let those close to her, or those who were still hesitating know that she could suppress the Empress. Between gains and losses, it was naturally a good thing to gain more. However, things were different now. Empress Wang was living well, and if she came over to ask for a place, others would think that she had gone overboard. At the same time, when she wanted to move to a good place, Empress Wang moved to a better place. It was as if she was saying, "Since you like this small place, I'll give it to you. I'm an empress, and I even call myself an older sister. How can I not agree? I'll go where I belong, which is at Yaowang Mountain." In this way, not only did she not gain any benefits, but she also suffered a huge loss. In the eyes of others, she would definitely be seen as a child asking for candy. What about Empress Wang? She was naturally an adult who would not lower herself to the child's level. Your Highness, the person in charge came over just now and asked if you were going to the ice skating rink. He said that if you were going, you should pick an ice blade so that they can send someone to teach you. Wu Huifei's palace maid came in and asked. She did not allow Wu Huifei to speak, so she continued, there's also a group of children who came over to ask if you still want to listen to their music. They also brought eggs and 2 hams to thank you for giving them and their families so many pastries yesterday. When have I listened to other people's music? Oh, I know. Empress Wang is the one who listened to it. Do they think that the owner here is still the same? Tell them, but they won't listen. When I'm living here, I'm not going to let others come over. Wu Huifei understood immediately. Empress Wang did not have children of her own, so she liked other people's children. Yesterday, she must have seen the children yesterday and came over to entertain them. What did that have to do with her? The palace maid accepted the order and was about to say it when Wu Huifei suddenly shouted, Wait, you can't say it. You must not say it. Go to the kitchen and get some good things and send them to the children. Don't accept the things they brought unless they have to. Tell them that the current one is not the Empress Wang from yesterday, but they can still come and go as they please. As for the skating rink, tell the manager to get ready first and find shoes that the kids can wear. I want to skate with the people. Okay, go. After the palace maid left, Wu Huifei patted her chest with lingering fear. If she had really chased her away just now, then this matter would have been known by everyone. People would say that the empress lived here and could enjoy the people, while the concubine lived here and should be chased away. The empress and the concubine were indeed different. If such words were to spread to the capital, and the ministers and the emperor found out, he would have no hope at all. Well, he probably couldn't suppress it even if he wanted to. He couldn't stop those who wanted to. Not to mention others, that Wang Wan would probably do it. She had always been targeting him. Wang Wan. Go, tell her people to find trouble with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in Baoxing County. Don't expose anything that shouldn't be exposed. Go. Thinking that Wang Wan ruined her plan and kept helping Empress Wang, Wu Huifei was angry and ordered another palace maid standing next to her. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had returned to the yamen. They had a good sleep last night and got up early this morning to wait for He Wei. When they came back last night, they didn't see He Wei. He went to the place where he raised turtles. Even if he came back at midnight, he wouldn't be able to find them here. So they could only talk about it in the morning. Sure enough, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't have to wait long before He Wei came over like a panda. Official Zhang, County Deputy Wang, I know I was wrong. I won't give you any more ideas. He Wei apologized as soon as he saw them. Why did County Magistrate he say that? Did you encounter something that you can't solve? Someone bring a hot towel over and apply it to County Magistrate He Wei's eyes. Also, get some wine to circulate the blood, Zhang Xiaobao said to the panda, He Wei. When the yamen runner went to get the items, He Wei was like a child who had done something wrong. He lowered his head and said, The turtles are dead. Half of them are dead. It's all money. I raised them for nothing. Dead? So what if they're dead? Do you know how they died? Next time, think of a way to prevent them from dying. No one can succeed in one try. County Magistrate you don't have to worry about this. Zhang Xiaobao thought it was a big deal. It was just half of the turtles that had died. I know. When you and Wang Wan returned to Luoyang and took cherries away, I thought about it myself. Don't you need to disinfect the fish when you ask people to raise them? It's to sprinkle lime in the water. I thought that if we disinfect them more, the turtles will grow better. So you found a lot of lime and sprinkled it in, right? In the end, you realized that all the turtles in the water had died. The other half were lucky and stayed on the shore. Zhang Xiaobao understood before He Wei finished his sentence. He Wei nodded. Yes, now I know. The lime can't be used in that way. However, half of the turtles are an industry in the county. The yamen paid quite a bit. I was afraid that if the commoners knew, they would criticize me. Say, look. Just a while after Xiao Bao and Cuckoo left, He Wei caused trouble, right? Wang Wan said to He Wei, "Yes. Why don't I fork out the money? I'm worried that the commoners will criticize me for wasting time." He Wei didn't know what to do. After all, the yamen was transparent now. Nothing could be hidden. In fact, in the past, the commoners' eyes were as bright as snow, and their hearts were as clear as a mirror. However, they couldn't speak, so they endured it and accepted their bad luck. But now they could speak. He was not in charge of the county. Once something went wrong, he would be punished. Of course, Zhang Xiaobao would not let He Wei pay for it. It was a loss in the research. He thought for a while, looked at He Wei, and said, "County Magistrate I agree with your idea of sending tortoises to Fengzhou and even further north." County Magistrate Wang also agrees. Fengzhou was willing to send a batch of livestock to Baoxing County before the beginning of spring next year. In order to promote mutual understanding between the people of Baoxing County and Baoxing County, they would first send a few people as representatives to Fengzhou to visit and learn. At the same time, Fengzhou would also send people to Baoxing County to carry out mutual exchange projects. I admire County Magistrate his big picture vision. So many turtles can be frozen and sent to Fengzhou. They can be used as medicinal materials and can also be used to adjust the local diet. I'm willing to find a boat and send the turtles over at a low price. What do you think, Deputy Wang? In my opinion, this is a good start. In terms of thinking for the people, County Magistrate He Wei is ahead of many people. He is worth learning from and using this as a foundation to carry forward. Therefore, I propose that after this year's autumn harvest, we should display County Magistrate his true ability. Li Mu said, in order not to bury talents and to test theories with actions, County Magistrate he should be transferred to Yaozhou and assume the position of military advisor. At the same time, he should also be in charge of the local land use. County Magistrate you are worth learning from. Congratulations. Wang Wan also said. He Wei was confused. He understood what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan meant. It was okay to eat the turtles that were killed by the lime, so they should freeze them and send them to Fengzhou to exchange for livestock. There were many livestock in Fengzhou. In this way, not only would they not lose money, but they could also make a profit. More importantly, the dead turtles were not a responsibility, but a necessity. It was good that they died. They should die like this. If they didn't die, it would be difficult to deal with them. Wang Wan meant that he should be transferred to Yaozhou to be the military advisor and be in charge of military affairs. At the same time, she also gave him an actual position, which was estimated to be the agricultural affairs of Yaozhou. But it was because of this that he felt it was incredible. After making a mistake, he was not only not taken down, but also continued to be promoted. The reason was that he had never seen a turtle that died because of a mistake. It was really amazing, especially Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's business-like manner, which made people feel that it was true. He Wei felt that he should learn more from Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, so he asked in a low voice, "Is this okay? What's wrong with it? You didn't poison the turtles for your own benefit. You also wanted to make the lives of the people in the county better. It's just that the method was wrong, but the method can be learned. When you go to Yaozhou in the future, when you do things, remember to listen to other people's ideas. Don't let this kind of thing happen again. This matter is settled. I will post it in a while. Didn't you bring back a few dead turtles? Stew them. I think you haven't been living well these days. You need to nourish yourself. If you want to do things for the people, you need to have a healthy body. If you don't bring any, ask someone to get two. I will cook them for you." Zhang Xiaobao didn't think much of it. Wasn't it too simple to poison some turtles? If He Wei could be dealt with like that, then it would be a real pity. He was prepared to reward He Wei. He Wei was very moved. He was promoted after making a mistake, and he didn't even have to take responsibility. He nodded and said, "Xiaobao Cuckoo, don't worry. No matter where I go, I will remember this lesson. I will be more stable. I am not that smart. I want to be stable. Give me a place, and I will hold on to that place." I will wait for someone who is really capable to take over. Good. Sometimes stability is also a skill. It is called being as immovable as a mountain. I will find a way to let you have some real power in the military there. If you don't understand, you can go to Huaiyuan County and ask. As long as it is a business between the Zhang family and the Wang family, even if they can't give you a good idea, they will still send you news. Is there anything else? If not, county magistrate, he can rest for half a day and have a good sleep. Zhang Xiaobao knew that Yi was under a lot of pressure. He probably didn't sleep at all last night. No need, no need. I can hold on. I can. I will be fine after eating some food. Yi suddenly didn't feel sleepy anymore. He was full of energy. He covered his eyes with a hot towel. His breathing was smooth, and a big rock was finally removed from his heart. After saying that, he came out with his eyes covered. He had to change the covering, otherwise he wouldn't be able to see the road. He was going to ask someone to put up a notice so that he could continue to tell the people who were willing to listen about the Yamen situation today. As soon as he came out, he met Old Man Pai and the other two. The three old men knew what happened to him. The people they sent to follow him said that he had poisoned half of the turtles to death. When the people sent to follow him came back, they didn't forget to bring back a few turtles as evidence for the three old men to taste and see if they were poisoned to death. When Old Man Pai saw Yi come out of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's room, he asked, "Is the matter settled? Is there nothing wrong at all? You even got some benefits? Official Bai, how do you know?" Yi asked in puzzlement. His question was actually an admission to what Old Man Pai said. "How can I not know? Go find Xiaobao and Cuckoo. As long as they are willing to help, bad things can be turned into good things." Old Man Pai said like a god. "You are really a god." "That's true. Those dead turtles actually, don't say it. Let me guess. This time, I must be right. Normally, Xiaobao would sell the turtles. Is it because he wants to advertise it in all the restaurants in the county? Especially the Fengwu Pavilion. That is the best place." Old Man Pai thought that he could finally follow Zhang Xiaobao and the Wang family's train of thought. However, his expression was very confident. "No, if that's the case, I will have one less excuse to get promoted. It's like this." Yi repeated what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan said. "Ha ha ha." Old Man Chang laughed. "By go, you still can't do it. Did you forget that the Zhang family's plans are never that simple? According to what you said, it's just solving the problem of the turtle's death. Would the experts of the Zhang family come up with such a plan? Would Zhang Xiaobao, who has inherited the true skills, come up with such a plan? Humph. Don't think too simply. It's definitely not just for Yi to get promoted. It's also not a simple communication between the two sides. There should be other aspects." Old Man Pai, who guessed wrong, retorted. Seeing that there was nothing else for him to do, Yi excused himself and went to work. The three old men were left at the door looking at each other. Old Man Pai looked at the two and said, "I don't believe that we can't guess what he's planning. Xiaobao said that he wants to make the turtles himself, and he wants someone to get them. Don't go, I have one right now. I'm old and my body can't take it. I need to nourish myself. Quick, get someone to send the turtles to Zhang Xiaobao." Because of the return of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, the people in Baoxing County were completely relieved. However, there was an undercurrent in Xiankai County. After Cui came over a few days ago, he still hadn't taken over. He was still asking people to check the accounts. According to him, if the accounts weren't clear, he definitely couldn't take over. If he didn't take over, the other two people couldn't either. After all, they came together. The most important thing was that if they took over too easily, once Cui found out something, they would be in trouble too. County Magistrate Yen, who was going to take over, was the most honest. Ever since he came to Xiankai County, he didn't care about anything. He just went out every day to see which place made the most money and whether he could get some benefits from it. Of course, watching was just watching. He didn't have the guts to cause trouble at this time. The people who came with him were all high-ranking officials, 3rd or 4th rank. If he really wanted to do something, the two of them would probably be able to chop him up. The accounts were checked very strictly. Chui Ri wanted to find out something from the accounts so that he could deal with Feng Changgong. Xin Kai County's accounts were made by all the officials in the county. What should be done had been done. If he really wanted to find out, he could find out. However, Chui Riji had to take the accounts from house to check the income. After checking the income, he had to take the accounts to the places where they spent money. If the other party didn't lie, then he would find out that there was a problem with the accounts, and they were short of money. However, this method was obviously impossible because it was a continuous account, not the second examination's accounting method. In fact, even the second examination's accounting method wouldn't work. As long as it was managed by people, it couldn't be foolproof. Therefore, Chui Riji was very anxious recently because the workshop was almost finished. Once it started operating, Xin Kai County would immediately qualify to become a Shan County. He couldn't stop it. There was too little time, and he couldn't go to the construction site and tell Tang and Commandery Prince and Zhang Xiaobao's people to stop the construction and wait until he finished checking the accounts. That would be courting death. The only thing Chui Riji could do was to force his subordinates to work harder. He hoped that Li Lingfu could check the accounts because Li Lingfu was very familiar with this area. His ability was incomparable to ordinary people. He found Li Lingfu today and said to him, "Lord Li, do you think there's anything wrong with Xin Kai County's accounts?" "It's hard to say. Many accounts look normal, but there's something wrong with them. Some of them look normal, but there's something wrong with them. Some of them look normal, but there's something wrong with them. Some of them look normal, but after checking, there's nothing wrong with them. Therefore, the problem with the accounts isn't the problems with the accounts themselves. It depends on whether there's something wrong with the accounts. Once there's something wrong with the accounts, it's still a problem. Conversely, if there's nothing wrong with the accounts, it's still not a problem. If you want to know whether there's something wrong with the accounts, don't look at the accounts. You have to see whether there's something wrong with the accounts. Do you understand, Lord Chui?" Li Lingfu said to Chui Riji. After he finished, he looked at Chui Riji and waited for him to respond. Chui Riji felt a pain in his eye socket. He nodded and said, "I understand. I'm going to see if there's something wrong with me. The Zhang family's clinic is here. I'll go take a look." Chui Riji left as he spoke. In fact, he didn't want to see a doctor, but he really wanted to go to the clinic opened by the Zhang family and the Wang family. He planned to ask Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan for help. He knew that if it were Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, the accounts would be easy to check. Seeing Chui Riji leave, Li Lingfu didn't look happy at all. It was mainly because his plan had failed. He was going to kidnap Zhui Meng. However, when the people he sent entered Zhui Meng's courtyard, they found that Zhui Meng was gone. There was still a smell of sleeping incense in the room. Zhui Meng didn't take away the money she earned. She should have been kidnapped. Who kidnapped Zhui Meng? What was the purpose of kidnapping Zhui Meng? These were what Li Lingfu wanted to know the most. If Zhui Meng caused trouble in other places, it would be fine. However, if it was because of what happened in Xin Kai County, it would be over. It meant that others had also thought of what he could think of. It was hard to guess whether they were enemies or friends. "Lord Li, what should we do now?" Feng Changgong hid when Chui Riji came. Now that Chui Riji was gone, he came out to ask Li Lingfu. "Wait." Li Lingfu replied with one word. Feng Changgong couldn't wait any longer. He could have been promoted this time, but he was delayed and couldn't get promoted. Besides, he still had something on his mind. He asked, "Lord Li, how long do we have to wait?" "Wait until someone deals with you or the workshops in Xin Kai County. We'll see who comes first." Li Lingfu was also judging the situation. Feng Changgong didn't understand what Li Lingfu meant. He wanted to ask, but when he saw Li Lingfu's expression, he could only hold it in and wait for Li Lingfu to speak. Li Lingfu thought for a while and said, "If it was the other party who captured Dream chasing Taoist, then you'll be in trouble. If it's the other party, Then they'll calculate the time. When they feel that Xiankai is ready to become a district, they'll find you and use dream-chasing Taoist in exchange for benefits. As for whether there is another party, and who it is, it's hard to say. However, I can imagine that they must know where you are in trouble. It's very likely that there is a traitor. This is just a guess and can't be confirmed. At this moment, the registrar was also busy. He entered a room again and said to the person sitting inside, "Zhuai Meng is gone and can't be seen anymore. Did our people take action? We don't care if he's not our people. Our main mission is to keep an eye on Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. We sent a few people, but they came up empty. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan have returned to Luoyang. We just heard the news of their return, but there were 4 spies among the people we sent. We can't contact them anymore. I think they're doomed. We haven't done enough in terms of spying. If Feng Changgong is attacked, will you be implicated?" The person in the room explained to the registrar and asked again. The registrar nodded. "I think so, but I won't be beheaded. This is because I participated in many matters, but I also left behind evidence. When the time comes, as long as I hand over the evidence and prove that I was forced, I'll be considered meritorious. At most, I'll become a commoner. Continue paying attention to the situation in Buxing County. The higher-ups have already left the capital. When they left, they ordered us to be careful. It's very likely that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan won't be our people. All right, if there's really no other way, I'll personally take a look and inquire openly." After the registrar finished speaking, he followed the same path as before and appeared behind Soft Spring Pavilion. Similarly, he calmly passed through Soft Spring Pavilion. This time, he didn't encounter any adulterous couple and walked back with ease. However, the Soft Spring Pavilion that he had just passed wasn't peaceful. For women sat together, all of them wearing veils. There was a letter on the table between the 4 of them. To be precise, it was a piece of paper with only a few words on it. The 4 of them were wearing clothes of different colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. They had been staring at the words on the paper for a very long time, but they didn't look away. Chapter 732. When the woman in blue heard the woman in red's words, she said, "I don't think they are from the underworld. Their methods aren't as ruthless as those from the underworld. They actually spared our people's lives. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as simple as losing the Taoist priest. Our people wouldn't be safe either. We kidnapped the Taoist priest because we wanted to collect information. What is their purpose? Until now, there has been no news of the Taoist priest. Could it be that they were just fighting for fun? Our people were more than 200 miles away from here, but they were actually ambushed on the water. At that time, the people who were restrained said that the other party only used one move to deal with them. They were defeated in one move and didn't have any chance to resist. The person who woke up first saw that the other party walked on the water and didn't take a boat. Instead, they swam. This shows that the other party is very good at swimming. If they aren't from the underworld who lives on the water, who would be so good at swimming? We don't know if they will contact us and what benefits they want. If they know our purpose of collecting information, then we will be in a passive position." The woman in green analyzed with a slightly hoarse voice. When the woman in yellow saw that the 3 of them were talking, she also made a sound like a lark. Not only is he good at swimming, but his kung fu is also not ordinary. He knocked down our people in one move. From our people's words, we know that the other party attacked one of the head, one of the stomach, and 2 of the legs. However, among our people, the one who woke up first said that the other party was originally attacking his throat, but for some reason, they suddenly changed their hands halfway and hit the left side of his chin. The other hand of the other party seemed to be able to kill him at any time. I also asked other people, and they also found that when the opponent attacked, he only used one hand. The other hand seemed to have a weapon, but when the light shone on it at night, it didn't shine. It should be black. The same weapon, the same way of attacking. This reminded me of something. "What is it?" the woman in red asked. "We have people in Tubo who are collecting information about Tubo. Back then, the logistics camp in Ijo had been there before. We couldn't tell much about the battlefield at the end, but in the forest at the beginning, many Tubo scouts died mysteriously. It was as if they didn't go through a fierce battle and were killed in one blow. There were some lucky survivors who went to the brothels and bragged that it wasn't because they weren't strong, but because the other party was too strong. When the other party attacked, it was always a single blow. Even if it meant exchanging life for injury, they wouldn't hesitate. Especially at night, the other party's weapon didn't reflect light like normal weapons. The other party mainly attacked the throat, eyes, and ribs. The wounds were all triangular-shaped, and they couldn't stop the bleeding. They could only apply medicine or paste on the wounds. We found out who this unit is. It's the most elite existence of the Zhang family and Wang family in Sanshui County, the Vigorous Protection Unit 0. They can carry out special operations in any terrain. They specialize in rescue, reconnaissance, and assassination. They are also good at swimming. At that time, Wang Wan led a total of 56 people to Tubo. It is said that more than 1,000 people died in their hands. Later, they returned to the Tang Empire and never appeared again. The Zhang family and Wang family began to focus on training the members of the number 1, number 2, and number 3 teams. Each team has 300 people. Could it be that they did it? What's their purpose? The woman in red didn't wait for the woman in yellow to finish speaking and continued. However, no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't guess what the other party wanted to do. The other 2 women seemed to agree with the woman in yellow's judgment. They were good at fighting, their movements were simple, their weapons didn't reflect light, and they were good at swimming. It seemed that only the members of the Vigorous Protection Unit 0 were responsible for this, because it was impossible that the other people's weapons didn't reflect light. The woman in yellow sighed. Whether it's them or not, it's useless to us now. Even if it's them, do we dare to send people to snatch Chasing Dream back? That's impossible. Their people aren't that easy to deal with. Besides, we shouldn't deal with them. Humph. Isn't it because you're afraid? Once you guessed that it was the Zhang family and Wang family, you don't have the guts to go. The woman in blue snorted in dissatisfaction. Yes, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that the people I send will die one by one before they see Chasing Dream. If it was really them who did it, they were already merciful when they didn't kill him last time. If they go again, will they still be merciful? Every time you listen to the person who woke up first, at that time, he felt that he was going to die. The other party had used one arm to stab him. There was blood on the blade, so the other party should have also been injured. Even at that time, the other party's other arm didn't move. This means that the other party didn't want to kill him, not that they couldn't kill him. I don't dare to provoke such people. If you think that your people are strong, you can send them to try. However, I'll say the ugly words first. If you fail and the other party finds out who it is, I won't die with you. Don't expect me to help you. I'll run as far as I can. Before you do anything, tell me first, so that I can prepare to evacuate. The woman in yellow still had a pleasant voice, but the words she said were merciless. The other 3 women sighed and stopped talking about snatching people. The main thing was that they couldn't be sure that it was the Zhang family and Wang family who did it. Once they sent people out, there was a high possibility that they would be dealt with. That was not the worst thing. The most worrying thing was that the other party would retaliate. Since we can't be sure, then let's not talk about it. It's just a small part of the income, a small part of the people who can be threatened, so that we can use it for other things. Let's all go back. We still have to do business. Just now, the registrar of Xinkai County came out. Why don't we do a favor to the Zhang family and Wang family? The green-clothed woman proposed her idea. The other 3 women shook their heads. The woman in blue said, if they can snatch people from us, it means that they have obtained a lot of useful information. Don't tell me that they don't know about the registrar. Let's go. Let's pretend that this never happened. But we need to send people to Xinkai County. Who will go? If we knew that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would choose that place, we would have arranged for people to go there. Who would have thought that such a small county would be favored by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan? The woman in red didn't want to continue discussing this matter, so she asked the other three. The three of them looked at each other. Two of them shook their heads and didn't want to go. Only the woman in yellow nodded and agreed. I'll go, but don't expect me to do as well there as here. I'll just do normal business there. I won't cause trouble for myself. I know. We don't plan to let you gather information about the officials there and then find a way to control them. That place will become prosperous. I guess there will be tour guides like those in the capital in the future. It would be better if you could let your men join them. Seeing that someone had agreed, the woman in red didn't ask for too much. She also knew that playing tricks under the eyes of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would cause a lot of trouble. In Xinkai County, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were also sorting out information. After they returned, they found a lot of seemingly useless information regarding their county and Xinsai County. The information they had received in Luoyang had been sorted out by others. There was very little that they found important. Although it was more accurate, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't believe that their servants could do it so perfectly without undergoing specialized systematic learning and actual experience. For example, when Tubo's No. 1 launched an economic war, there were people in the inner court who were in charge of intelligence, but they couldn't determine the danger involved. Many things looked very ordinary, but as long as one thought carefully, they could discover the secrets behind them. This was a kind of nurturing of the mind. It wasn't easy. Otherwise, wouldn't people who were good at learning be able to become intelligence collectors? How could it be that simple? Xiaobao, someone shipped a large number of beans to be sold, and the price hasn't been lowered. This is a little unusual. There's not a lack of beans here. While Zhang Xiaobao was processing the tortoise, Wang Wan was reading a pile of books. When she saw a piece of news about soybeans, she said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Has anyone been purchasing soybeans recently, or anything related to soybeans, such as fermented bean curd, stinky tofu, and soybean oil? Has anyone suggested that a new dish requires soybeans and their derivatives?" Zhang Xiaobao asked as he chopped off the tortoise's head and placed the shell aside. He planned on sending it to a pharmacy as medicine. Wang Wan shook her head. "No." "Then ignore him. I'm not afraid that he will maintain the price, but I'm afraid that he will suddenly lower the price. Furthermore, the price will change every day, and each price will be lower than the previous one. Or perhaps someone will raise the price of soybeans. This will affect the fluctuation of the local price of soybeans. That's the most worrying thing." Zhang Xiaobao said again. "Oh, does that mean that as long as the other party comes over, no matter how many soybeans he has, he will maintain the current price and nothing will happen?" Wang Wan smelled a strong smell of blood. Although the tortoise's blood was left in the tortoise's body, after the head was chopped off, the stench was still very strong. She didn't know how the person who drank the tortoise's blood drank it. Of course, if there was a special situation, she could also drink it. But now it wasn't that special. Therefore, Wang Wan took a few steps back and tried not to smell it. That depends on the situation. Tortoise is really not delicious. At least, I don't like to eat it. Many people like to drink tortoise's wine. In fact, it doesn't have much effect. It's almost the same as eggs. It's not even as good as snake gall. But Grandpa wants to eat it. What do you think? He actually made a live tortoise. In fact, this matter is the same as war. Soldiers don't grow. It doesn't mean that the price of the soybeans he sells is really stable. It depends on the output and transportation. It's just that he doesn't achieve anything by doing this. I guess he's just a normal businessman. He doesn't expect to suddenly make a lot of money. At the same time, he doesn't lack money. So, he can slowly ship the goods. You can go and see how his soybeans are. If it's good, you can sign a contract with him. If it's not good, you can just ignore him. The main thing is to see the oil yield. Everything else is bad. Zhang Xiaobao took out the blood of the live tortoise and took out the gallbladder. He soaked it in alcohol to sterilize it. When the old man Pai wanted to eat it, he had to use alcohol to break open the gallbladder and pick out the skin. Then he would let the old man Pai drink it. Some gallbladders had bad things in them. Unless they were reared, it was better not to swallow them whole. Wang Wan took 2 steps back and took out a charcoal pencil. Okay, I'll remember it. Let's buy a batch first and see the oil yield. You're really wicked. You actually used bean cakes to make tofu. Why can't bean cakes be used to make tofu? Our method of squeezing oil can't squeeze out all the oil. Besides, the price of tofu made from bean cakes is cheap. The fiber and protein of the beans are not wasted, right? It's also good for the body. It's just that the taste is not good. In fact, there are many places where you can't even eat bean cakes. Do you know how I lived in the past? I also went to the rescue center. They also gave bean cakes. Children get 2 ounces a day, and adults get 4 ounces a day. There were good rescue centers that would steam them. Some don't even steam them. It's called fishy when you eat it, but you can live. Have you eaten bean cakes mixed with fermented bean curd? Zhang Xiaobao boiled the tortoise in boiling water and threw it into the pot to stew. He only added a little salt. When the time comes, he will add some seasoning. It doesn't need to be so salty. Many people like to drink this taste. He doesn't know which part of this taste is good. Wang Wan had never eaten bean cakes mixed with fermented bean curd before. But she had eaten pickled cabbage mixed with fermented bean curd before. It was more exciting than eating raw fish. She guessed that Zhang Xiaobao's dish would be better. After flipping through a few pages, Zhang Xiaobao said, I found another thing. Someone wants to use his own money to build a road in Bushing County. But he wants to own the business on both sides of the road. The road he chose seems to be beside the road where we're going to divert the water. He's dreaming. We don't even plan to take advantage of this river. But he saw it. He's very good. He knows where to divert the water from. This person's ability is not bad. It's just that his thinking is not good. Zhang Xiaobao really wanted to meet this person, to be able to determine where to divert the water from. This person's ability was definitely not ordinary. He must understand the local economic structure and be familiar with the geography. Wang Wan smiled. What do you mean by low thinking? I don't see how high your thinking is. In fact, He Wei was going to agree to his request because He Wei didn't know the importance of that road. Unfortunately, he is smart, but he chose the wrong method. He gave He Wei a jade bowl that was worth 1,000 strings of coins. When He Wei saw the bowl, he rejected it without thinking. 1,000 strings of coins was too much. He Wei was afraid that he couldn't afford it. Isn't this person very interesting? Why do I feel that his way of doing things is not like the people here, but like us? On one hand, he is secretly scheming. On the other hand, he is giving gifts to officials. When the time comes, he will take advantage of it, and the officials won't have to bear the responsibility. In fact, there aren't many people like this in our world. Many people first give gifts to officials, then get information from the officials about how they can earn money. Then they participate. Compared to this person, they are much worse. Yes, they are not as good as this person. This person is really capable. He knows when to advance and when to retreat. 1,000 strings of coins is not a small amount. If it was changed to money, in our world, there would have been officials who would have agreed. How much is a bushel of rice here? Let's count it as 30 copper coins. 1,000 strings of coins is 33. A bushel is also about 10 caddies. In our world, it was 4 yuan per caddy. It could be about 1,200 to 1,300 yuan. That's more than 1,000,000 yuan, and it doesn't cause trouble for others. I really don't know how many officials can reject it like He Wei. All right, I will promote He Wei more in the future. It's not easy. At least he still has fear in his heart. However, He Wei is a little silly. If it were me, I would have accepted it. This kind of thing can't be written, right? When the time comes, I will say that he donated it to the county and let the people thank him. However, I will definitely not give him the road. Even if I give him a small section, I will have to teach He Wei. In the future, when he encounters such things, he will follow suit. Yes, help me write it down and contact this person. I will find time to meet him. This kind of person may be of great use in the future. He has a flexible mind and agile thinking. Other than not knowing much about this place, he is really good. As long as he can stabilize and explore more, he can earn more money in the future. Okay, I will write it down. There is one more thing. Wang Wan continued to read. As long as she could analyze it herself, she would put it down. If she couldn't analyze it or found it suspicious, she would tell Xiaobao and let Zhang Xiaobao decide. The two of them cooperated very well. Wang Wan flipped to the end and thought there was nothing important. Suddenly, she saw a message and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "There is one more thing." Zhang Jiajin wrote a letter saying that Zhang Shuo framed him and asked us to help. What? He is stupid. Why would such a thing appear in the book in your hand? What does he mean? Don't care about him. Whether he is dead or not, this is what I hate the most. You can write a letter secretly, but you have to let others know. Quick, write a letter to Xin Kai immediately and tell them to speed up the process. Today, is Chasing Dream in our hands? Write a letter to Zhang Shuo and tell him about Zhang Jiajin. Tell him what is going on so that he doesn't have to worry about things going wrong. When Zhang Xiaobao heard this, he was really angry. This was because he and Wang Wan had just set a trap for Zhang Shuo, and Zhang Jiajin just had to find trouble at this time. Those who didn't understand would think that he and Wang Wan were on Zhang Jiajin's side. It was too hateful. It was just like how Zhang Xiaobao's son could take over from his father in Japan more than 100 years ago. They couldn't do this. Wasn't this forcing others to do something? The more Zhang Xiaobao thought about it, the angrier he got. See where Zhang Jiajin went. Stop all of our goods and water supplies there. If there is any, stop them too. If we don't warn them, they might think of using us to play games in the future. I can't afford it. Wang Wan thought the same. Being used by others was the most uncomfortable thing, especially at such a critical time. Zhang Jiajin deserved to die. Xiaobao, do you want to find trouble with Zhang Jiajin and impeach him? We won't do it directly. Don't we have people at the monster trainer's side? Let them do it. No, that won't do. It's impossible that others don't know about our people. Then let Yu and Rong do it. Wang Wan was ready to take revenge. Zhang Xiaobao said helplessly, "All right, my great aunt, let's not create more trouble. It's fine as long as we explain it to Zhang Shuo. How about this? We will stop the supply, but we will write a poem praising Zhang Jiajin. You can write it. You can write it better than me. When the time comes, I will send it to Godfather. I'll listen to you and let him off easy." Wang Wan put away her thoughts of killing Zhang Jiajin. At this time, the aroma of the meat in the pot wafted out. Old Man Chang was the first to appear at the door. He looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Seeing that the two of them looked like they were working, he did not disturb them. He just stood there and waited. Even if he knew that there would be a lot of time to stew the tortoise, he was still willing. The moment he appeared at the door, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan knew. The two of them were very alert. Seeing that it was him, Zhang Xiaobao said, "Grandpa Zhang, there are many tortoise shells here. I'll use aged vinegar to cook one for you. It's just that it takes a lot of time. It will take about 5 to 7 days. When the time comes, you can eat it as a snack. It's tough and crispy." Okay. The two of you continue. Don't worry about me. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. Continue. It was the first time that Old Man Chang had heard of another method of baking the tortoise shells without using tiles. It sounded good. When he nodded in agreement, he took 2 steps back. Wang Wan did not know whether to laugh or cry. She said, "Grandpa Zhang, Xiaobao and I didn't do anything. We are doing business. You don't have to be like this." Yes, we didn't do anything. Business, big business. I understand. Old Man Chang followed Wang Wan's words. "Xiaobao, you still make tortoise shells for Grandpa Zhang to eat." Wang Wan saw that she could not talk to Old Man Chang, so she turned to Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao did not care. He smiled and said to Wang Wan, "Don't worry. As the saying goes, the body is like a Bodhi tree, and the body is like a mirror. Always brush it diligently, and don't let it be stained with dust. This is called the appearance comes from the heart. Xiao Bao, can you learn more? What you said is wrong. It seems that you are the one who didn't lose your appearance. That is called Bodhi is not a tree, and the mirror is not a mirror. Originally, there was nothing, so where was the dust? You are worrying me to death. There is only one level difference. In this aspect, Wang Wan was naturally better than Zhang Xiaobao. She immediately corrected him. Yes, yes. Originally, there was nothing, so where was the dust? Good, well said. Continue to be a tortoise. Zhang Xiaobao used Wang Wan's words to say. Wang Wan finally realized that her words were used by Zhang Xiaobao to criticize her. She asked slowly, "You do think that you can show off by letting others think nonsense?" Wrong. This is not showing off. This is called happiness. Zhang Xiaobao replied, "A broken jar has a good mouth. Grandpa Zhang, let me tell you, it is not good to be jealous. It lowers blood pressure." Yes, Cuckoo is right. I will not be jealous these days. I will wait for Xiao Bao to make something. Old Man Chang chose to believe Zhang Xiaobao. What are you waiting for Xiao Bao to do? Is there anything for me? There is news that the emperor is preparing to leave the palace to go somewhere else. It seems that there is more money in the national treasury. Xiao Bao, do you think you can stop the emperor from going out? It costs a lot of money to go out. Chapter 733. While Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were discussing Buddhism, Old Man Pai suddenly appeared. The two of them were caught off guard. Zhang Xiaobao sighed helplessly. Grandpa, Pai, where is the emperor going? Jin Yang, the emperor is traveling. He spends a lot of money. Can we not let him go? Old Man Pai started to oppose the emperor again. No one knew which side he was on. Grandpa Pai, how much can it cost? Can I pay for it? It's not far from Chang'an, right? It's fine if he goes. Does the emperor have to stay in the capital and can't go anywhere else for the rest of his life? Zhang Xiaobao was worried sick. It was not a big deal. Jinyang was Taiyuan, Shangxi, and was not far from the capital. If he wanted to go, he would go. Why did he have to stop him? He could just go for a stroll. Other leaders would take a plane and go for a stroll when they had nothing to do. They would look at the scenery of other places. Only when they talked about something would they not talk about. The main thing was that when they met, they could not be as tough as when they did not meet. Couldn't Li Longji go for a stroll in his own country? How could he be the emperor? Wouldn't it be sullen to live? Wang Wan also had the same idea. If Li Longji was bored in the capital, then he should go out to play and relax. He could continue to do things next time. Why did they have to restrict him? Wasn't it just spending some money? It was not a lot. After going for a stroll, not only would they be in a good mood, but the local people would also be happy. They would be valued. Therefore, Wang Wan also agreed. Grandpa Bai, I also agree. We will pay for it. In the future, if the emperor wants to go out and have a look, we will also pay for it. Old Man Pai didn't expect that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who always cared about the people, would suddenly support the emperor going on an inspection tour. He was stunned and said, "It's not a matter of money." For example, when Yang Guang went out, not only did he spend a lot of money, but he also made life difficult for the people by building canals. Grandpa Bai, we seem to be using the canal as well. We can also repair it. The problem of the people is not a problem of money. He always eats the hearts of the people when he goes to a place, right? We just need to give them enough money. Besides, Grandpa Bai, you only see the bad side and not the good side. Take the pilgrimage ceremony, for example. Is that a bad thing? Isn't it just spending money? It can be a deterrent to the surrounding countries. Many times, many things can't be bought with money. There is a saying that one can subdue the enemy without fighting. When a country's emperor goes out and has nothing to do, it can also show the country's ability. Grandpa Bai, this matter is settled. After we take a stroll around, the emperor will go to Mount Tai to perform a pilgrimage. We will pay for the expenses along the way. Just like Empress Wang and concubine Hui, who says that they don't earn money. Grandpa Bai, tonight I will tell you about the relationship between consumption and production. Zhang Xiaobao strongly supported Li Longji going out to play and see his own country. That way, he could love his own people and land more. Money was not spent in other countries. No matter how it was spent, it would stay in the country in the end. Of course, if it was counted as GDP, there would be an increase. If it was someone else who said this, Old Man Pai would definitely not be convinced. However, the people who said this were Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. There was no doubt about their ability. They had never been at a disadvantage. Since they were all in favor, it seemed a little thoughtless for him to say that he was against it. After thinking for a while, Old Man Pai asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Can we really make money? Can we immediately earn back the money that the emperor spent?" "No, Grandpa Bai, we can't do that kind of thing. If we really want to earn back the money in one go, it's still possible. However, I can't come up with such an idea." Cuckoo will also not agree. That would be the real harm. This is our country, not someone else's. Zhang Xiaobao rejected Old Man Pai's suggestion. No, definitely not. If they could earn back the money spent in one go, it would be simple. He could easily do it. But could he do it? Wang Wan also understood Zhang Xiaobao's meaning. If they changed the long-term return to the short-term, it would definitely increase the flow of funds. Sometimes too fast a flow of funds was not a good thing. So she followed and said, "Grandpa Bai, when investing, it is actually divided into short-term and long-term returns. Xiao Bao and I chose the long-term. The short-term is used on other countries. The accumulation of money is not the circulation of money for us, but the increase of productivity. If we really want to increase the circulation of money, Xiao Bao can use the method of cash flow. Fast, really fast. Xiao Bao can turn 1 copper coin into 10 copper coins to circulate. But the ones who are really hurt are the people of the Tang Empire. Therefore, no matter what Xiao Bao says, he won't use it. It's not that he doesn't know how to. So I'm wrong. Fine, I'll listen to you. How can that Empress Wang and Wu Huifei help you earn money? Is this the way you earn money, to increase productivity?" When Old Man Pai saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's unwilling expression, he knew that he still could not follow their train of thought. However, he knew that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had always done things in a way that did not hurt the people of the Tang Empire. As for where they hurt, there was no need to ask. Of course, it was Tubo and Japan. These two places were still in Zhang Xiaobao's calculations. In the end, they probably would not get better. It would depend on Zhang Xiaobao's mood. If he was in a good mood, he might let go a little. If he was in a bad mood, the two countries could just wait to be unlucky. It was a good opportunity for him to see the ruthlessness of this method. Hearing Old Man Pai mention productivity, Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while and said, "Actually, it's also a kind of method. The money we earn through the empress and the concubines is not from the ordinary people, but from the rich and even foreigners. Grandpa Bai, you will know when the time comes." Wang Wan also said, "Actually, not much of our family's money is saved up. Until now, we only have 300,000 strings of cash in reserve. Most of it is in circulation. 300,000 strings of cash is a lot for others. Even if 1,000 families add up their lifetime savings, they can't compare to it. But to us, it is already very little. The money we spend does not have a direct impact on the financial system. To be honest, Grandpa Bai, the return on this kind of investment is really too low for us. A lot of the money is spent on infrastructure. If this was another country, we definitely wouldn't be like this. Wouldn't it be stupid to not earn money when there is money to be earned? After we finish the things in the day, we will talk to the 3 grandpas about this relationship at night. We will tell the 3 grandpas what will happen to Tufan this year and what will happen to Japan. Let's go. Don't talk about it anymore. Since Xiao Bao and Cuckoo support it, then let them do it. When we return, we will write a memorial to the imperial court saying that Xiao Bao and Cuckoo will pay for the emperor's trip. Old Man Yao saw that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were not willing to compromise on this matter, so he pulled Old Man Pai and walked back. "Yes, we will pay for this. I don't believe that 300,000 strings of coins won't be enough for the emperor to go around the country." Zhang Xiaobao agreed. After the 3 old men left, Wang Wan sighed. I originally thought that we would be able to relax by going to a smaller place, but in the end, we are still so busy. Xiao Bao, why do you think? Because we are not willing to live an ordinary life like this. We want to achieve more. You have to be responsible for the height you are standing at. We have always been outside of the Great Tang. To be more precise, we are outside of the Great Tang's imperial power. We are willing to exchange benefits with Li Longji. In the past, it was because we were not strong enough. Now it is because we like this kind of game. Actually, it means that we have never thought of ourselves as part of a feudal society. In our hearts, we think of the entire Chinese nation. Our good impression of the Great Tang is only because of its tough attitude towards the surrounding countries. Zhang Xiaobao analyzed the thoughts of Wang Wan and Wang Wan. Yes, that's right. Because you and I have never thought much of Li Longji. They have always treated this kind of thing as a game. However, in our hearts, we definitely do not think of the entire Chinese nation as a game. This time, we really have to pay for it. Wang Wan also agreed with Zhang Xiaobao's words. This was the truth. Of course, why not? This is actually a money-making business. Just like the plan I wrote, Empress Wang and Wu Huifei can't just enjoy it. They have to pay the price. Of course, this price won't hurt the two of them at all. Zhang Xiaobao replied. Just as Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were discussing their thoughts in Huaiyuan County's Day Hospital, Wu Huifei was working hard to improve her image to the outside world. This time, she knew that she had lost to Empress Wang. She shouldn't have taken the Four Seasons workshop in the first place. She made others think that she was an ungrateful concubine. This matter was actually both simple and difficult. It depended on whether there were others who wanted to make use of it. If everyone didn't care, then she could get through it. If there were people who wanted to spread the news behind her back, then she probably wouldn't get anything good out of it, even if she returned to the capital. If that was the case, it was fine for her to gain other benefits. The problem was that she didn't gain anything at all. Then, what she had to do now was to think of a way to improve the local people's attitude towards her. She didn't mean to improve, but to strengthen the good side of her in the hearts of the people. Therefore, when it was almost nighttime, she had to accompany the children who were still playing happily there to skate. She heard from others that Empress Wang's skating skills were very good. She could actually spin on the ice and even jump up to spin twice. In this aspect, she really couldn't compare to her, who asked her to have a different background. Empress Wang could go on the battlefield and kill the enemy. She couldn't compare to her in this aspect. The only thing he could do was to put on a sincere smile and watch the little ones play by themselves while encouraging them. He had to push a chair and run around on the ice, or else he would fall. Your Highness Imperial Concubine Wu, it's already late. Should we let them leave first and find them tomorrow? The palace maid beside her went outside to ask about the time and came back to ask Wu Huifei. Wu Huifei actually didn't want to play anymore. Seeing that others didn't have to push a chair while she had to, anyone would feel uncomfortable. She planned to practice properly while no one was around. When she returned to the palace, she would make a place like this in the palace. When the time came, she would play with the emperor. It would be much better than playing with the children now. She was inside the house and couldn't see the situation outside. Candles were lit in the house, so she couldn't feel the passage of time. Hearing the words of the person beside her, Wu Huifei asked in return, "It's already dark." In reply to your highness, it's not dark yet. But you can't always be on the ice. What if you catch a cold? The palace maid said worriedly. If it's not dark, then don't talk about it. What are you afraid of catching a cold? Where is this place? This is Day Hospital. Not far from here is the medical school. Don't you see the children playing happily? How can I suddenly make them unhappy? Wu Huifei's voice was very loud when she said this, so the children playing there also heard it. The children were very simple and didn't know about the struggle in the palace. They had seen a total of 2 important figures from the palace. One was the empress, the other was an imperial concubine. What they didn't expect was that no matter which one, they were very good to them. They were full of yearning for the palace, and thought that living there was the happiest thing. Seeing the children looking at her according to her plan, Wu Huifei said to them, "Don't worry and play. Even if it's for the whole night, I'll follow you. When I learn, I'll also play hide and seek with you. There will be food at night." The palace maid following Wu Huifei was not an ordinary person. When she heard Wu Huifei's words and saw her meaning, she immediately knew what to do. She said loudly, "Your Highness, your body is not good. You can't catch a cold. The doctor said that if this happens, you will feel very uncomfortable." "No need to say any more. I don't feel uncomfortable at all." Wu Huifei was very happy. Her palace maid was very sensible. When she was talking, she fell to the ground with a plop. She got up with difficulty and said to the children who were looking at her with concern, "It's nothing. It's just an accident. I can't compare to you. You are all very powerful. It's nothing. My leg doesn't hurt." "Your Highness, your Highness." Wu Huifei said that her leg didn't hurt, but she couldn't stand up. The palace maids immediately lifted her up and walked out. The palace maid who had just spoken shouted twice with concern. Then she smiled and said to the children who had stopped, "Continue playing. Your Highness is slightly unwell. She will be fine in a while. There will be delicious food for you in the evening. Come, take them to play." The children really didn't know what to do now. Wu Huifei was sick. If they continued playing, it would be too unreasonable. But if they didn't play, that person had already said that they should wait for dinner before leaving. What should they do? Just as they were hesitating whether to stay or leave, Wu Huifei struggled to stand up and said to them, "You must stay here for dinner before leaving. I will come back at that time. I have never played before. Let's see who is better." With his words, the children were relieved and continued to play here. Of course, they didn't need to spend money, and there were people to take care of them. Each of them remembered Wu Huifei in their hearts. When they went back, they naturally had to tell the adults at home that the Empress was good and Wu Huifei was good. Once she was carried out of the indoor skating rink, Wu Huifei didn't feel uncomfortable anymore. She indicated for someone to put her down and said to a person beside her, "At this time tomorrow, you will spread the news. You must spread it to the capital. Do you understand?" "Understood." This servant promises to do as your Highness says. How could the palace maid who had been instructed by Wu Huifei not know what Wu Huifei meant? She quickly agreed. The next day, without waiting until this time in the afternoon, the news of Wu Huifei taking a sick person to play with the local children had already spread. Moreover, it quickly spread all the way to the capital. Wu Huifei was very happy and properly rewarded her subordinates. Only then did she ask the most loyal palace maid who had been following her the whole time, "Have the other things been arranged?" Replying, "To your Highness, the arrangements have been made. Everything has been arranged. Your Highness, don't worry. The people who caused trouble for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan will definitely not expose your Highness. However, we can't use pigeons to send the news. I estimate that we will have to wait for a while before we can. This is the information that was sent over a few days ago." The palace maid immediately knew how to answer and handed a letter to Wu Huifei. After Wu Huifei read the letter, she said helplessly, "It seems that it won't be easy to deal with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who took the Jue Meng away. Passed down the order to have our people cooperate with Li Lingfu. No matter what he wants to do, we have to cooperate well. Even if it's to kill someone, we have to think of a way to make it look like a suicide." "Yes, this servant will arrange it now." The palace maid responded and left in a hurry. After this matter was arranged, Wu Huifei sat there and muttered, "This time, I want to see how the two of you will deal with it. You want to go against me? Humph. I'll let you know how powerful I am." The palace maid next to her clearly heard Wu Huifei's voice, but she had to pretend that she didn't hear it. She didn't know what to do there. Some palace maids believed that Wu Huifei could defeat Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, while others didn't have any expectations. If Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were so easy to deal with, no one would have suffered countless losses from them. Another morning, Wu Huifei ate the prepared meal and was about to go to the hot spring again. Suddenly, the head of the Zhang family came over and said to Wu Huifei, "Your Highness, there is something that I don't know if you want to go." "What is it?" In fact, Wu Huifei was not satisfied with the head of the Zhang family because after she came here, she didn't enjoy the kind of treatment that Empress Wang had described. The accommodation was not bad, the food was not bad, the games were not bad, and the hot springs were not bad. However, there were many things that were missing. First of all, how was he supposed to train his body? Secondly, he did not see any specially prepared milk for him to soak in. Not to mention that someone came to teach her something. This was obviously different from the situation where Empress Wang lived here. However, looking at the rules here, she couldn't find any problems. In other words, the treatment that Empress Wang received was not within the rules, but extra. She didn't know how Empress Wang was now. It was said that the Yaowang mountain was very good. "Your Highness, Your Highness." The head of the Zhang family saw Wu Huifei standing there in a daze, so he called her twice. This time, Wu Huifei reacted and asked the head, "What did you say you wanted me to come over for?" In fact, it's not a big deal. There will be a competition here soon, a chef's competition. At that time, many chefs will make new dishes, which must be dishes that others haven't seen before. Then, they will let people with status evaluate them. The person with the highest status will have the most important words. Once the dish can win in the end, the name of the dish won't be given by the chef, but by the person who evaluates it. For example, Your Highness, if a dish you said is good and really wins, then the dish will be called Huifei's dish. I didn't want to disturb Your Highness with this kind of small matter, but I think it's interesting. So I came over to tell Your Highness. The head of the Zhang family said very tactfully, but it always made people feel like they were being ignored. What did he mean by not wanting to disturb? If he really didn't want to disturb her, he shouldn't have come over. Wu Huifei's first thought was that the head of the Zhang family didn't want her to participate, so he repeatedly emphasized that it was a small matter. Therefore, Wu Huifei asked the head of the Zhang family, "Will Empress Wang participate?" Your Highness asked Empress Wang if she will participate. It has been held several times, and Empress Wang has participated 3 times. It is held once a month. The head of the Zhang family said to Wu Huifei, "Oh, so Big Sister is participating as well. Since that's the case, how can I not go and take a look? Count me in. When the time comes, I'll be able to taste the dishes made by the chefs. Is your Aqua Cloud Club participating? I really want to know how the chefs here compare to the imperial chefs in the palace." Wu Huifei didn't hesitate anymore. Since Empress Wang had participated, and her name would be added to the dish, then as long as the dish was really good and spread, wouldn't her name be spread as well? The head of the Zhang family didn't show any other expression. He still had the same smile as before and said to Wu Huifei, "Since Your Highness is participating, the chef's competition can't be taken lightly. Even if no chefs from between the clouds and the water are participating, Your Highness, you should go and have a look. When the time comes, Your Highness, you should taste it carefully." After that, the head of the Zhang family left in a hurry to register Wu Huifei. Of course, Wu Huifei wasn't participating in the competition, but she felt that she could enter the ranks of the judges. Seeing the head of the Zhang family leave, Wu Huifei finally understood. It turned out that the head of the Zhang family wanted to use this opportunity to elevate Empress Wang's status. Empress Wang had participated in the competition 3 times. It seemed that if she didn't seize the opportunity, she might lose the opportunity. Thinking of this, Wu Huifei ordered the people around her, "Go and check the situation of this chef's competition for me, and where the chefs are from. I don't believe that there isn't someone from between the clouds and the water among them. Humph. It's all for Empress Wang. I guess this is the arrangement. I will make them fail this time." Chapter 734. The chef competition in Huayuan County was currently being prepared. This competition was temporarily a local competition. Those who came to Huaiyuan County were all chefs from Jiangyi Province. The competition in other places had not started yet. After the competition in each province, they would be summoned to the capital for the next competition. Wu Huifei wanted to cause trouble for the Zhang family and Wang family during the competition, so she made a lot of arrangements. Empress Wang did not care about this. She ran to Yaowang Mountain to continue to take care of her skin. She also learned more about the way of leisure to stabilize her position. The battle between the two parties had been going on behind the scenes, so it could be considered peaceful. The place that was not peaceful was Xinsai County. Zhuai Meng's disappearance made several parties move together. Along with the rumors, when they finally pointed to Feng Changgong, Li Linfu could not wait any longer. The more important thing was to speed up the construction of the workshop. Li Linfu called Feng Changgong and said, "Do you want to live or die?" "Live, Master Li. You must save me. I know my mistake. I shouldn't have asked Zhuai Meng to come." In the face of life and death, Feng Changgong begged Li Linfu like a puppy wagging its tail. "It seems that you still don't know where you were wrong. You shouldn't have stopped Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan from channeling the river. Good. It's good that you know your mistake. Immediately take the initiative to dig a ditch in Baoxin County and post a notice to the people in the county. First, to prosper the local economy and improve the people's livelihood, we want to cooperate with Baoxin County to divert the river. Second, some time ago, you heard rumors and mistakenly led the fake Taoist Zhuai Meng to the county to talk nonsense. You will issue an arrest warrant and offer a high reward for the people to admit your mistake first. Third, are there any omissions in the accounts? If you lack money, you can avoid this first. Fourth, personally go to Baoxin County and ask for forgiveness in front of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan." Li Linfu understood that this was not just a battle in Xinsai County, but a battle between two parties. His side, Yu and Rong, saw that the matter was about to be settled. If he pushed a little, it would be better to contend with Zhang Shuo. If he retreated, it would be unknown when Dongshan would rise again. Feng Changgong showed a troubled expression. He said, "Master Li, how can I still have face after doing this? Wouldn't I have to admit defeat to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan? What's the point of living if you beg for forgiveness in front of two half-grown children? Then you can just wait for your death. I'll help you this time and leave you with an intact corpse. Now that you know how to save face, why didn't you think more about it? Is your face that important? More important than the Tubo Kingdom? Why don't you go and take a look at the land between the eastern front of Jinchuan and the western front of Great Tang? Who's in charge? Someone who can threaten an entire country by himself. Is he someone you can fight? You, a local official, do not know much. That Zhang Xiaobao has not given up on Tubo. This autumn, we will see the result." Last night, news arrived from the capital. Because Zhang Shuo refused to accept Xiaobao and Cuckoo's invitation list, after falling out with them, he retired. The person recommended by Su and Su, He Yiwei, will be appointed as Yaozhou's Jishir, who is also familiar with Yaozhou's agricultural affairs. Compared to Zhang Ji, what do you think? How are you compared to Tubo? Tell me, do you want to take poison or hang yourself? This official will definitely help you." Li Linfu said a few words to Feng Changgong, then smiled and offered to help. "Officially, this official does not want to die. I will do it now. Officially, if this official uses Zhang Xiaobao's secret plan to deal with Tubo as a threat and says that if they don't help this official, I will inform Tubo. Can this matter succeed?" Feng Changgong had just said that his face was more important than his life, but now he changed his words. Li Linfu was so angry that he laughed. He patted Feng Changgong's shoulder and said, "Fine, County Magistrate Feng, you have a bright future. This official risked my life to tell you something that you shouldn't know, and you want to use this to threaten Zhang Xiaobao. I didn't see it. Do you have any relatives at home? Is there a place to escape? If we can escape the pursuit of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family, this official will run with you. Official Li thinks that this plan is inappropriate. How about we hide in Tubo?" Feng Changgong might have been threatened too much recently, so his train of thought could not keep up. He was still persistent. Li Lingfu sighed helplessly. Sigh. I thought that you have a good place to go, but you actually want to hide in Tubo. Wang Wan just needs to go to Shenandong province and gather the 6,000 light cavalry that are still alive and can fight, then ask Tubo for you. Official Feng, please tell this official if Tubo will give you or not. Or Zhang Xiaobao will immediately order Pengzhou Pass to stop the exchange of food for livestock. What do you think Tubo will do? Then go to Japan. Japan has a lot of gold and silver, Feng Changgong said again. You don't need to go anywhere. Stay here. This official does not want to be chased. Someone, invite County Magistrate Feng to rest. Take care of his 3 meals a day. It is indispensable. Li Lingfu didn't want to waste any more time on Feng Changgong, so he called for his own men to restrain him. He immediately began to write a notice in Feng Changgong's name, completing what he had just said. He then ordered the people outside prepare a carriage for this official. This official is going to Baoxing County. In Baoxing County, Zhang Xiaobao was still writing a letter to Gao Lishir. He said that the emperor was traveling and that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family would pay for all the expenses. However, all the arrangements had to be made by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family, such as road repair, food, and security. No one else was allowed to interfere. No matter how much money was spent and whether or not they could earn money, only Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family could do it. Wang Wan stood to the side and watched Zhang Xiaobao write the letter. At the same time, she also embroidered clothes for Xiaobei and the others. Seeing that she had embroidered her hands twice, Zhang Xiaobao said, "You don't have to learn this. I am not from the great Tang Dynasty. Whether or not a woman can cook and know how to sew clothes is not important. If you want to eat well, I will personally cook and not feel ashamed." There are some things that women should do, and should do. The reason why the matriarchal clan was eliminated was because their bodies were not strong enough, and they also had to give birth. There are strong women, but the proportion is too small. No matter which aspect it is, the ones who are truly at the top are men. Even if it is women's underwear, the one who makes the best is not a woman. My mother in the past was actually not bad, but she still knew how to take care of us at home. You are not the kind of man who does not have the ability and needs to rely on a woman. Many times, I have to stand behind you. One is that you can protect me, and the other is that I can cooperate with you. I can cook and sew clothes. I don't know about other women, but I know that I like it. This makes me feel that I am a complete woman. In fact, I used to know how to sew. I could even sew sweaters, but I have never sewed like this before. I only sewed cross-stitch. It was very simple. It was only after I came here that I realized how amazing the women here were. My mother and your mother were like this, especially your mother. Until now, all our clothes were sewn by her. When she sewed, she did not need to sew anything, and the things she sewed were also very vivid. This shows that she must have a good foundation in drawing. The women of this era are really not to be underestimated. Wang Wan was not ready to give up. She felt that if she did not know what other women knew, then she would be missing something in her life. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao finished writing the letter. Seeing that Wang Wan was so persistent, he did not try to persuade her anymore. He asked someone to send the letter away and said to Wang Wan, "It's getting dark. Don't sew first. If your eyes are tired and nearsighted, I still have to make glasses for you. How much glass would I waste? It is much more difficult than making binoculars. Let's go out and take a walk." Wang Wan put away the things and walked out with Zhang Xiaobao. After they were out of the door, she suddenly asked, "Xiaobao, do you know about sewing machines?" "Yes, I know. I am not a fool. I use it pretty well. It's the kind that steps on the feet. I used to make underpants for myself." Zhang Xiaobao felt that his hands-on ability was very strong. He put on a posture of pushing the thread forward and said, "Then why don't you ask someone to make a sewing machine? You can make electric lights and washing machines. Are you missing a sewing machine? If you didn't mention it, I really wouldn't have thought of it." The principle of a sewing machine is even simpler. Okay, I will remember this. I can't make it and sell it right away. I have to think about how to use it. This opportunity is rare. The small step we take is a big step forward. Don't make it sound so dignified. Are you thinking of something again? Little master, little miss, it's not good. Something happened to Xiao Bei and the others. The guard in charge of looking after the little guys rushed over and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "What happened?" Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan asked nervously at the same time. Little Miss Xiaobei and Little Master Xiao Yuan fell. Little Miss Xiaobei's arm is broken, and Little Master Xiao Yuan's leg is swollen. The guard was so anxious that his eyes were red. It seemed that he was the one in pain. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't continue to talk about the sewing machine. They ran to where their younger brother and sister were. They saw Xiaobei holding his right arm with his left hand, refusing to let others come over to check. He pursed his lips and held back his tears. Xiao Yuan's eyes were also filled with tears. It wasn't that he was in pain. His pants had been taken off. He looked at Xiaobei and felt sad for him. The other little guys were also anxious at the side. Zhang Xiaobao didn't have time to care about others. He ran in front of Xiaobei and reached out to take Xiaobei's arm. He began to feel the bone. Wang Wan asked with a livid face, "Who took care of him? Why didn't he let us treat him?" "Little miss, we took care of him. Xiaobei let someone touch him just now and said that it hurt. He didn't let anyone get close to him." A maidservant came over and replied in horror. Wang Wan didn't say anything. She nodded and looked at Zhang Xiaobao. After Zhang Xiaobao examined his sister, he let out a long breath and said to Wang Wan, "It's not crushed. It's just cracked. It will probably take 2 months to heal. Pay attention to your diet." There was a slight misalignment, so I corrected it. "Xiaobei, how did you fall?" Mechanical arm multiplied by mechanical arm is equal to resistance arm multiplied by resistance arm. I wanted to see if Xiao Yuan could fly into the swimming pool. He jumped from a high place and fell. Xiao Yuan stood in the wrong place and broke his leg. Xiaobei finally found someone to cry to. As he cried, he looked at a seesaw beside him. Zhang Xiaobao also looked over and saw that there was a platform on one side of the seesaw. It was estimated to be 3 meters high. Presumably, his sister had jumped from there, and Xiao Yuan was standing on the other side. After crying for a while, the strong Xiaobei looked at her brother and asked, "Was it wrong?" "That's right. But little sister, you should ask your brother and sister first. The human body's endurance and the acceleration of gravity are not something you can jump from. Big brother will teach you how to jump later. Okay? Later. Take some painkillers." His sister was fine, and Zhang Xiaobao wouldn't take his anger out on the people taking care of her. He guessed that the little rascals did it secretly. In the future, he could only tell the people taking care of her to be more careful and more careful. Wang Wan's face was still gloomy. She asked the person beside her, "What if it's 2 zhang tall? What about 3 zhang tall? The maidservant will receive 3 whips, and the guards will receive 10 whips. No, the guards will receive 20 whips. Guards, guards, guards. If they can't protect her, how can they be called guards?" After giving the order, Wang Wan said to Xiaobei with a pained heart, "The medicine will be here soon." "I won't eat it. I'm not afraid of pain. Last time, when Big Brother practiced the torture removal technique, he didn't eat it after making a mistake. I won't eat it either," Xiaobei insisted. "Then Xiaobei, how do you know that mechanical arm multiplied by mechanical arm is equal to resistance arm multiplied by resistance arm?" Wang Wan was puzzled. This was knowledge taught to the people in the inner courtyard. How did Xiaobei and the rest know? "It's all because of my second brother. He even calculated whether the slingshot could hit accurately, but as long as it was a little farther, he was right every time," Xiaobei said. Chapter 735. Xiaobei was completely well-behaved this time. He had a splint on his arm and looked very pitiful. He had an excuse to ask others to feed him when he was eating. Zhang Xiaobao's little brother, Xiao Hai, was even more silent. Occasionally, he would be in a daze. If one got close, they could hear him whispering, "What is gravitational acceleration? How do you calculate it? Why do people get hurt when they fall?" After Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan settled Xiao Bei down, they found Xiao Hai, who was squatting in a corner and drawing on the ground with a wooden stick. The two of them quietly approached him. They thought that Xiao Hai was sad for his sister. Just as they were about to persuade him, they suddenly realized that Xiao Hai was not drawing blindly. He was actually drawing a right triangle. There were numbers written on each side, and there was a simple addition and subtraction formula next to it. Zhang Xiaobao had also studied with Wang Wan for a while. Looking at the addition and subtraction formula, he knew that Xiao Hai was calculating the length of the hypotenuse of the triangle. Perhaps it was because he did not know how to write a square, so he used addition and subtraction instead. He always set the length of the two right-angled sides to a very easy-to-calculate number. In other words, it was the kind of Pythagorean. It was very simple. If the lengths of the two right-angled sides were 2 and 4, he would not calculate the length of the hypotenuse. "Xiao Hai, are you calculating the Pythagorean?" Wang Wan felt that it was very magical. She also squatted down and asked Xiao Hai. Xiao Hai was too engrossed and was startled. When he saw that it was his brother and sister coming over, he nodded. "If Xiao Bei did not fall, Xiao Yuan also did not fall. After I calculate, Xiao Yuan will be able to fly out of the empty space on the platform that Xiao Bei jumped off and fall into the water." "Hee. Xiao Hai, you like to learn this?" Wang Wan laughed. Even if the two of them did not make a mistake, Xiao Yuan would only hit the platform that Xiao Bei was standing on when he flew. Picking up a wooden stick from the side, Wang Wan began to calculate according to the rough data on the ground. She didn't even take into account air resistance, only gravity, and added it into the formula to find the limit of flying angle and height. This kind of guidance method could be done by a high school student like Zhang Xiaobao, but for Zhang Xiaobao, it was still too difficult. Little Hai's eyes were fixed. Although he didn't understand why they had to calculate like this, he knew that Sister Wang Wan could calculate, and she was very good at it. Wang Wan didn't expect Xiao Hai to understand immediately. She just wanted to let him know that if he wanted to learn computing well, there was still a long way to go. "Little Hai, do you want to learn? It might take 10 years, 20 years, or even longer, and then I can learn arithmetic to the highest level." Little Hai asked longingly. Wang Wan shook her head. "What I'm using now is just the basics. It's like learning 1 + 1 = something. No one knows where the peak of calculation is. Every time you climb a mountain that you think is the highest, you will find that there is an even higher mountain in front of you. What can you do after you learn it?" Little Hai asked again. "Everything. This is called a coordinate axis. This is called a parabola. This is called..." Wang Wan began to explain some terms to Little Hai. She didn't expect Little Hai to understand immediately. She wanted to give Little Hai an impression first. After Little Hai memorized the names of each place, Wang Wan said to Little Hai, "If you want to learn the step, you must first have a solid foundation in addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Learn well. If there is anything you don't know, ask me. Go and see Xiao Bei. Because of your calculation error, Xiao Bei was injured. Okay, I will go now. I will learn well. Sister, are you and Big Brother really gods?" Little Hai had a goal in his heart. He stood up and suddenly asked, "Yes. When you are good, you are a god. In the future, you will be a god too." Wang Wan rubbed Little Hai's head and left with Zhang Xiaobao. There were other things to do. "I am a god too. I am a god too. I will learn arithmetic well. There is nothing I can't do." Little Hai encouraged himself and ran toward Xiao Bei. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were talking about their younger brother and sister as they walked back. "I thought I would have to wait until they were in their first year to discover their interests. I didn't expect them to gradually reveal it now. I have to be more careful in the future. I can't let them be too biased. Otherwise, when they reach a certain level, they will find that their foundation is not solid enough. They will have to go back and learn again. It will be a waste of time. Zhang Xiaobao felt that Xiao Bei and little Yuan's injuries were worth it. At least they knew that little Hai, who was usually relatively quiet, had such an interest. He could actually calculate the length of a string. Yes, every child is a genius. It just depends on whether you can discover it or not. Wang Wan also sighed with emotion. When Old Man Pai and the others, who had also received news of Xiao Bei's injury, rushed over, they saw Xiao Bei eating a cold drink with her arm in a sling. Today, she was injured, so she was treated more leniently. She ate 3 bowls in a row and was still eating. There was also an unlimited amount of candy. This made her forget about the pain in her arm very quickly and become happy. Old Man Bai found out what had happened from the servants. He looked at the seesaw, then at the platform that was set up. He said to Old Man Yao, "It is indeed dangerous, but it let me know that the children of the Zhang and Wang families are indeed different from those of other families. This time, it is a human standing on the platform. If there is a stone placed on it, it would be a catapult. Yes, it seems that the little guys are quite capable. I didn't expect them to be like this usually. Their family just eats better food and says that they don't lack nutrition. They usually play more games, and when they tell stories, they always include what they learned that day. Everything else is about the same as other people's. Why is it that they are different after they are taught?" Old Man Yao concluded. He was quite shocked. He felt that if all the children were raised like the children of the Zhang family and Wang family, then when this batch of children grew up, they would definitely be even more impressive. Old Man Chang did not care about education. He only praised Xiao Bei's bravery and told Xiao Bei that if something like this happened in the future, don't forget to find Grandpa Zhang to play with. He looked as if he wanted the world to be in chaos. Xiao Bei and Xiao Yuan's injuries caused the servants in the family to receive the punishment they deserved. This was especially so for the bodyguards. They were whipped very hard. The people who whipped them were also not satisfied with them. They couldn't even protect a person, so how could they be bodyguards? This time, they were lucky and broke their arms. What if they broke their necks again? In Xiankai County, after Li Linfu posted a notice to arrest the dream-chasing Taoist in the name of the county magistrate, the worries of the people were finally relieved. Since they did not have to be afraid of traveling to the southwest and did not have to continue controlling the land, then the river could be smoothly led to Baoxin County. As soon as Li Linfu left Xiankai County, Cui Riji received the news and knew about the notice. Looking in the direction Li Linfu left, he said to the attendant next to him, "It seems that this Li Linfu is not like how he was on the way here. We were all fooled." Sir is right. If Li Linfu does this, even if he uses this method to deal with Feng Changgong, it won't be very effective. Originally, it was a crime of beheading, but after Li Linfu did it, it became a crime of negligence. At most, Feng Changgong will be stripped of his official position. That way, the blow to the other party will be reduced. Why don't we call that guy surnamed Yen over and ask him what he plans to do? It would be best if we can get our side, as well as Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in Baoxin County. This time, Li Linfu is not going there to see the development of Baoxin County and learn from them like he said. He is probably going there to catch people. The attendant next to Cui Riji, who was also his aide, analyzed and said, looking at the busy people in the county, Cui Riji, who still didn't take Li Linfu seriously, waved his hand and rode to the Rushui River. He said, "Don't worry. Li Linfu is not that capable. How can he rope in Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan just because he wants to? But we still have to be careful." The attendant was still worried. "Of course. Let's go and take a look over there. The recruitment and training will probably start today. As long as we start early, the tax paid by Xiankai County this year will be higher than before. When the time comes, we will take all the credit." Cui Riji seemed to be very unwilling to think of Li Linfu as an opponent who could compete with him. He didn't even think of Li Linfu as someone who was more powerful than him. As soon as Li Linfu entered the lower boundary of Baoxin County, he got out of the carriage and rode on his horse. He looked at the situation in Baoxing County along the way. He was also a registrar, so he knew what kind of scene was real and could reflect the good and bad lives of the local people. The houses on both sides of the road were not renovated and looked old. If he only saw this part, then it could be said that the lives of the people in Baoxing County had not improved by much. However, the difference was that although the houses were old, in the enclosed courtyards, he could see chickens and ducks in the front yard. There were also pigs in the backyards. Each family had also found an open space to feed the poultry and livestock. It was almost noon. Smoke came out of the chimneys of the houses. Some had no smoke and were cooking by a unique stove outside. Li Linfu narrowed his eyes and looked at the people cooking. He saw that the clothes they wore were not as good as the people of Xiankai County. However, the expressions on their faces were much better than the people of Xiankai County. None of them looked sad, and their actions were swift. Li Linfu had seen such an expression before. It was the usual expression of people when there was a happy occasion. He also said to the attendant beside him, "This is the human heart. As long as there is a good plan, it will be better than usual when doing things." It seems that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan have really put in a lot of effort. "Master, look, there are a lot of people busy there. The road is blocked. Why don't we go around?" The attendant beside him also looked around. A gust of wind blew in, bringing a lot of dust. He narrowed his eyes and waited for the wind to pass. He pointed to a side road and wanted to go around. Li Linfu, who wanted to understand the specific situation in Baoxing County, couldn't go around. Wei Wei exerted force on her legs, and the horse under her sped up and ran forward. The others also knew to follow behind. Without waiting for them to get too close, Li Linfu could see the situation clearly. Many people carried sand and stones on their shoulders and pushed them with small carts to the sides of the road. The people on both sides held tools and dug and pressed. The weather was hot, and many people were bare-chested. Sweat flowed down their bodies, making them look like they were smeared with oil. In addition, the mud was sticky, making people feel uncomfortable just by looking at it. The commoners who were working did not seem to feel uncomfortable at all and continued to work hard. From time to time, there were people with buckets in their hands moving back and forth in the crowd. Occasionally, they would stop and use a ladle to scoop up the water in the buckets and pass it to the people who were taking a short break from work to wipe their sweat. The people who received the buckets raised their heads and drank it all. They gasped for breath twice and continued working. After watching for a while, Li Linfu didn't see anyone deliberately slacking off. There were no supervisors here. If it was normal for the commoners to work, even if there were supervisors, the commoners wouldn't risk their lives like this. After all, that kind of work was calculated by the day, not by how much they worked. Go and ask. Li Linfu, who didn't know why they were continuing to work on the road, said to the person beside him. The person immediately trotted over and found the person who was busy cooking at the side to ask. After a while, he ran back and said to Li Linfu, "The county magistrate of Baoxing County, He Wei, wants to repair the roads. He said that some of the roads are too narrow. In the future, it will be inconvenient if there are too many vehicles and people coming and going." So he took out 1,000 strings of coins and prepared to repair the entire county's roads. 1,000 strings of coins wants to repair all the roads in Baoxing County? Is Yi Wei stupid? Not to mention 1,000 strings of coins, even the wages and the money to buy materials can't be less than 5,000 strings of coins. Do you think this is as simple as a village? When Li Linfu heard the words of the person who came back, he didn't believe it at all. If 1,000 strings of coins could repair all the roads in a county, the sun would rise from the west. The person who went over to ask continued, "Master, it is indeed 1,000 strings of coins. This money is used to buy vegetables and food. Just now, I went over to ask. The people in the county don't want wages, and they don't need to go elsewhere to buy things. They prepare their own things. Even the baskets used to carry sand and stones are made by the people themselves. 1,000 strings of coins is probably only used to cook food, and they don't need it. So they are afraid that people will get heat stroke in the hot weather, so they buy beans to make soup for them to drink. The person who walked around with the bucket just now filled the bucket with mung bean water and added some rock sugar and salt. When he said this, Li Linfu understood. Indeed, if the first two things that the people did were calculated by the heavens, and the people didn't want money after that, 1,000 strings of coins would be enough. But why were the people so stupid? The Zhang family and the Wang family were rich, so it would be a waste not to take it. Li Linfu, who couldn't understand, dismounted and personally walked over to an old man who was sitting on the side of the road and using a willow branch in his hand to repair a recently broken basket. He squatted there and watched the old man nimbly repair the basket. He asked, "Old man, how much does it cost to repair this basket?" The old man saw Li Linfu when he came over. The official robes he wore were very eye-catching, but the old man didn't care. If it was an official who came to see him work at such a close distance, he would definitely be nervous. He would be excited and afraid that he didn't do a good job. However, ever since Xiao Bao, Cuckoo, and county magistrate here the county came, everything changed. It was no longer so difficult to see the officials. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo took a group of children to walk around when they had nothing to do. It could be easily seen that county magistrate he would also take time out every day to explain the income and expenses of the county to everyone at the Yamen entrance. He didn't have the slightest feeling of being high and mighty. Therefore, even if another official came to take a look, there was no need to worry. He didn't believe that any official from other places would dare to come and cause trouble. There were many officials in the county who came and went, and they all went to learn. At this time, when he heard the person in the official robes ask, the old man took a loose willow branch basket from the side and continued to repair it. He said, "It's free. I can't do other work, but I can still weave baskets." "Why not?" "Old man, you are working for Baoxing County. It's not wrong to get a salary. Is it because the county doesn't pay you? Tell me, and I will impeach them." Li Linfu asked tentatively. He wanted to see what the people in the county thought. As soon as the words came out, the old man's pair of turbid eyes stared at him. "Who do you want to impeach? Go, stay away from me. Don't delay my work. I'm not impeaching. I'm just asking. I just said it. Even if you want me to impeach, I don't have the courage. Who doesn't know that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who are in charge of Baoxing County, can't be impeached? Am I right, old man?" Li Linfu quickly changed his words. Perhaps it was because his tone was good, or perhaps it was because he was relatively handsome. He gave a good impression. This time, the old man didn't chase him away. Instead, he said while mending the baskets, "That's right. Don't you know who Xiaobao and Cuckoo are? If someone really impeaches them, not to mention that they are capable, even if their family is not capable, I will personally put a bloody handprint to protect them. As an official, you said something wrong. How can you say that you are working for the county? Baoxing County is not other people's county. It is the county of Baoxing County. How can you ask for money when you are working for your own county? Are you thinking about it wrongly?" Yes, thank you, old man, for reminding me. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have thought of this. Yes, how can I ask for money when I am working for my own county? Old man, we are in charge of our own county. Can we manage our own county? Does our own words count? Li Linfu was stunned. Since when did the people treat a county as their own? Since it was their own county, they couldn't just work for their own family. Therefore, he asked again, "Why doesn't it count?" Every morning in the Yamen, county magistrate he will tell us how much money is left in the Yamen and where to spend it. If we don't agree, or if a lot of people don't agree, then the money can't be spent. Only when everyone agrees can it be used, for example, to repair the road. When county magistrate he first proposed it, I was also present. Everyone didn't say anything for a while, so county magistrate he didn't dare to order to take out money to repair the road. Later, someone took the lead and agreed. They said that if the road was repaired, it would make it more convenient for pedestrians and vehicles to come and go. With more people coming and going, there would be more people doing business. The county would also collect more taxes. Naturally, more money could be used in the county. Only then did we all agree. He didn't see that when county magistrate he proposed it, he was sweating. He was afraid that we wouldn't agree. Some people said that if we didn't agree, county magistrate he would easily fall ill. The old man, who had personally participated in the decision of the county, was very happy. He said to Li Linfu with joy. He put down the basket in his hand. Seeing that there was no basket next to him, he took the willow branch and began to knit it on the support. Li Linfu really didn't know that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were in charge of this county. He only knew that they had built a model tour here. Now that he heard about it, he didn't know how to react for a while. Since when did officials need to discuss things with the people and get the consent of the people? How much money was in the yamen was not the people's business. What did the people know? But Baoxin County really did this. The effect seemed to be quite good. Not to mention other things, just the fact that when the people were working, they would work for them without any pay. Other counties could not count on it. Perhaps only places like Sanshui County and Huaiyuan County could do it. It was good, but it was difficult. First of all, the officials had to be capable. They had to be able to think of good ideas to do things for the local people. In fact, the officials in the county had to be united. They couldn't scheme against each other and were willing to give up all their power under certain circumstances. It was easy to say, but difficult to do. If Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan weren't in charge of Baoxin County, He Yiwei wouldn't be so obedient. He knew that he couldn't win against the two of them, so he compromised. Maybe the old man saw that the official in front of him was easy to talk to and was a good person, so he persuaded this official, if he is also a local official, he should learn from the officials in this county. We are not unreasonable. As long as you tell us, even if you might do something wrong, we are willing to help. Who doesn't want to let the people in the county have a better life? If the people in the county have a better life, they can take out money for us when there is a disaster in the future. Now, Baoxin County is not afraid of disasters. There is a lot of food in the Yamen's warehouse. Regardless of whether there is a drought or a flood, when the warehouse is opened, we don't have to go outside to escape. Which official are you? After saying that, the old man wanted to ask. Until now, he still didn't know who the other party was. I haven't taken office yet, but I am in a neighboring county. Registrar, I have remembered what you said. When the time comes, I will learn from you. Li Linfu pointed in the direction of Xingsai County and replied humbly. The old man looked at Li Linfu again and nodded. You look good as an official. When you take office, remember to come and ask if you encounter any trouble. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are very capable. Things that many officials find difficult to do are easy in their hands. In fact, some of the officials who come here specifically come to ask for solutions. Yes, even if you don't say it, I know. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan are well known in the imperial court. In the future, I will come and see you more often. Let's combine the two counties and live a good life. Chapter 736. In summer, the weather was still unpredictable. It could be cold or hot at any time. It might be sunny in the morning, but it might be raining at noon. That was the case today. When they woke up in the morning and saw that the weather was good, they prepared to travel a little more. But who knew that it would rain before noon, making the already difficult road even more difficult to travel? Stop. Set up tents to shelter from the rain. Complaining about the heavens in his heart, Songrignagan gave the order to stop. The people in the group didn't want to continue. Being drenched by the rain, they couldn't tell if it was cold or hot. Their wet clothes stuck to their bodies, damp and stuffy. Seeing that their master had ordered them to stop, they quickly set up their tents and hid in them. They took off their soaking wet clothes and used the wood from the carriage to make a fire. Fortunately, they had covered the firewood with oilcloth before it started raining. Otherwise, they would have to endure the heat now. Songrignagan didn't rest immediately. He wore a straw raincoat and a bamboo hat. A few other people checked the tents one by one to see if anyone was feeling unwell. If so, they would have to be fed medicine immediately. They were not just slaves, but also money. The slaves were also used to their master's kindness. Everyone who saw Songrignagen respectfully greeted him from the bottom of their hearts. When Songrignagen walked into another tent, there were women and children. The women also took off their clothes and didn't look shy in front of Songrignagen. Perhaps they were used to it, but the children were also playing around naked. Seeing a child sitting there obediently, Songrignagen took out a thermometer from his arms and wiped it with his sleeve. He said to the child, "Open your arms and hold it. Are you cold?" The child nodded and obediently held the thing that he had never seen before under his arm. He looked at his master with wide eyes, not knowing what his master was going to do. The person next to Songrignagen immediately said, "This is called a thermometer. It can be used to see if a person is sick or not. Ordinary people can't see it, let alone use it. It's a good thing made by devilish Cuckoo's family. My master is good friends with Cuckoo and only got a few of them. She still hasn't boiled ginger water to drink. Master, should I bring some more sugar?" "Yes, go get it. Remember to bring the brown sugar." He glanced at the others and said, "If anyone is feeling unwell, you must tell us in advance. Don't drag others down with you when you die of illness." After he finished speaking, he turned around and left under the grateful and happy gazes of the people in the tent. He went to the next place, and after a while, someone would come and take the thermometer. Songrignagen liked this feeling very much. Compared to other nobles or royalty, he felt that his slaves were the ones who were truly willing to do things for him. They were healthy and loyal, and when they worked, they could do two of the work of others. He was not afraid that a slave would accidentally run away. As soon as he left the tent, the other children in the tent stopped playing and gathered around the child with the thermometer. They tried their best to see what the thermometer looked like. The thermometer that was caught only showed a small part, and they couldn't see the whole thing. The children waited there, waiting for someone to come and take a look. No one dared to reach out and touch it. Even the child with the thermometer didn't dare to move. He sat there, afraid that he would break the thermometer. They all knew who Devilish Cuckoo was. From the stories that had been passed down, they felt that Wangwan was amazing. How could something made by her family be bad? It must be very precious. The women in the tent all prostrated themselves on the ground, chanting their blessings to Songrignagen. As adults, they could feel how good their master was to them. Other slaves weren't allowed to go out casually, but they could. As long as they finished their work, the rest of the time was theirs. Of course, they didn't have money to buy things when they went out, but it was good to be able to look around. Some people were lucky and could even find a temporary job to help carry things when they were out. That way, they would have money. They could secretly buy some things they liked and bring the rest back to their master. This kind of thing happened more than once or twice. Every time their master received the money, he would say that he would save it for when the time came to buy things and distribute them. This was what he said and did. All of Songrignagen's slaves hoped that Songrignagen could live a better life. That way, they could also live a better life. "Master, looking at the rain, it will probably rain until night. If we stay here all the time, won't it be a waste of time?" Songrignagen asked his subordinate. He looked up at the sky and wiped the rain on his face. Songrignagen was also worried. He originally planned to reach Jinchuan quickly. Once he was there, he wouldn't have to worry about being ambushed by others on the way. Now that Tubo was in chaos, there were many times when nothing happened in Lhasa City. Once they went out, they might be robbed by bigger nobles. When the other party robbed them, they wouldn't say which part they belonged to. Therefore, many people who were robbed didn't know who did it. Even if more people wanted to find trouble with the other party, they couldn't find them. Songrignagen knew that when he sold all of his land, others would definitely find out. He was worried that someone would rob him because he didn't have a good life. He originally planned to go all the way to Jinchuan City, but the weather seemed to be against him. It was sunny one moment and rainy the next, especially today's rain. Looking at how cloudy the sky was, it probably wouldn't stop until night. The more Songrignagen thought about it, the more worried he became. He ordered the people around him, "Hurry up and get ready to eat. After eating, be alert. If something happens, fight it out with them." Perhaps the more afraid something was, the more likely it was to encounter it. When Serenade and the slaves were halfway through eating, the sound of horses' hooves and the sound of rain could be heard. They all had experience in this area. Immediately, some of them put their ears to the ground to listen. Some of them even used bamboo tubes. Serenade's subordinates did the same. After listening for a while, they said to Serenade with an ugly expression, "Master, there are about 400 horses. I think they are coming for us. They don't come with good intentions. Prepare to meet the enemy." Serenade didn't have any other choice. He could only hope that the other party wasn't here for the slaves and goods. He knew that if the other party was here specifically for this, even though they had more than 1,000 people, they wouldn't be a match for the other party's 400 people. There were children and women among the slaves. They couldn't all participate in the battle. Besides, he was just a small slave owner. He didn't have many weapons. The other party came prepared. How could they not know? Sure enough, the sound of horses' hooves was getting closer and closer. The ground also trembled with way, but it was obvious that the speed of the horses slowed down. Serenade had a crossbow in his hand, and after loading it, he was the first to come out of the tent, dressed neatly, and went forward to meet the enemy. The other side was riding on horses, and they were also wearing bamboo hats. They were not lacking corps raincoats and were holding weapons in their hands. They were in the middle of organizing their troops. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Serenade shouted at the other party. His voice wasn't loud, and because of the rain, the distance was not far. Even so, the other party could still hear him. "But Serenade, we are here under orders. As for who gave the order, you don't have to care. Leave half of the goods and slaves, and you can go. Otherwise, we will kill you all and take away all the goods. Let your people put down their weapons." The other party also said. Indeed, they didn't say who sent them. They only said to leave half of the goods and slaves. Serenade wasn't stupid. Looking at the other party, he didn't really want half of the goods and slaves. Otherwise, they wouldn't have caught up in the rain. Moreover, they came in such a hurry. If he really let his people put down their weapons, he didn't expect any of them to leave alive. With a decision in his heart, Serenade nodded to the person next to him. That person immediately began to shout. A group of slaves with weapons in their hands came out of the tent. They looked forward one by one, ready to fight. At this time, Serenade shouted at the other party, "If you want half of the goods and slaves, I won't agree. At most, I will leave 10% of the goods. If you don't want it, then come over." Serenade felt that the other party was reluctant to fight like this. Otherwise, even if they won in the end, there would be a lot of losses. He estimated that the other party's master couldn't bear such losses, so he was prepared to use a small part of the goods to exchange for peace. This time, the other party didn't reply. Instead, they began to adjust their attack position. Some of the horses ran to the side, as if they were besieging. Seeing the other party's movement, Serenade still insisted. At the same time, he rejoiced in the rain. Otherwise, the other party's cavalry would have an even more obvious advantage. Just when the two sides were about to fight, the sound of horse hooves came from another direction. The first group of people didn't dare to act rashly. They stayed there, waiting to see who was coming. After a while, the second group of people also arrived. They were also cavalry. This time, there should be more than 300 of them. It seemed that they didn't expect that there would be a group of people here. Seeing that the two sides were in a deadlock, they stopped to observe the situation. One of them came out and shouted to Serenade, "Serenade, leave all the goods, and we will let you go." Serenade suddenly found that he was in high demand. The two groups of people wanted to attack him, but he wasn't worried now. The people on both sides wouldn't reveal their true identities, so it was possible for them to cooperate. When the time came, one side would attack, and the other side would wait to take advantage of it. Therefore, the people on both sides wouldn't take the initiative to attack him. Sure enough, the two groups of people stopped there, guarding against each other. They wanted to attack, but didn't dare. If they didn't attack, they could only stand there in the rain. After a while of deadlock, Serenade shouted to the people on both sides, "How about this? I will give you 10% of the goods. Let's stop here today. When we set off tomorrow, you can continue to chase from behind. If you catch up, you will give me another 10% of the goods." Serenade had no other choice. He knew that if he didn't give the other party something today, he wouldn't be able to leave in one piece. He would let the other party taste the sweetness first. As for whether he could catch up with them tomorrow, he didn't care about that for the time being. 10% of the goods was not a small amount. The other party should at least stay behind to guard it or transport it back. That way, the other party would have fewer people tomorrow. With fewer people, they wouldn't dare to directly use force against him. In 2 more days, they would reach Jinchuan. Even if they had to give away half the goods, they would accept it. The people on both sides hesitated, not knowing whether to agree or not. It should be the people behind them who told them to take away all the goods. But since there were 2 wolves who wanted to eat a sheep, and they couldn't cooperate, this plan fell through. Serenade didn't care whether it was still raining or not. He ordered the people to put away the tents and prepared to hurry in the rain. He divided the goods into 2 groups and left vigilantly with the group. The cavalry on both sides wanted to continue to chase, but they were reluctant to give up the goods. They were worried that the other party would chase and take the remaining 80%. They were also thinking about what they should do. While they were hesitating, Serenade took the people and disappeared in the rain. "First, take this part of the goods back." The group of people who came first finally made a decision. They divided 100 riders to guard the goods, dismounted from their horses, and harnessed the carts. This was because Serenade only left the carts behind, but not the animals. The remaining 300 riders stayed where they were. They didn't chase after Serenade, but they also didn't leave. They just waited for the people who came later. The people who came later also helplessly ordered them to guard their goods. At this time, both sides found a problem, and that was if the rest of the people really chased after them, they still wouldn't get any benefits. As long as Serenade fought desperately, the people on the other side would first take away the 10% of the goods he just obtained, and then chase after them to clean up the mess. It was a very mysterious balance, which made both sides very depressed. Serenade was also depressed. 20% of the goods were gone just like that, and they didn't even know who the other party was. Tomorrow, they would have to travel another day to reach Jinchuan. If they didn't do well, the other party would follow them again. Hurry up, it will be fine after we pass Jinchuan. Hurry up." Serenade anxiously shouted to the slaves. The slaves knew what to do without him shouting. If they walked too slowly, it wouldn't be a good thing to be caught. Although they were still slaves, they were treated differently. Would other masters give them meat to eat? Would they give their children eggs to eat? One by one, the slaves rushed with all their strength. If the carts moved too slowly, they would push and pull them. At night, it was still raining. Some people had already fallen sick or tired. These people, including Serenade, were all thrown into the carts and taken along with them. In the end, they had to travel for an entire night. The next day, they couldn't walk anymore. The rain stopped and everyone started to eat. They didn't have time to cook hot food, only dry food, which they swallowed with cold water. The dry food was really good. It was not like the hard steamed buns prepared by ordinary people or the local food that was eaten by hand. Instead, it was a cake mixed with a lot of spices and meat. Since they were in a hurry, of course, they had to prepare the best food. Just as Serenade and the others finished eating and were ready to continue, the 2 groups of people caught up with them again. However, there were fewer people. One side had 200 riders, the other side had 300 riders. When the 2 sides chased after Serenade, they were also on guard against each other. Serenade helplessly ordered the slaves, "Give me another 20% of the goods." The slaves began to move the goods. Who knew that the people who caught up first would say, "Not 10%, we want 20% today. Yes, we want 20% too." The people on the other side also said. It seemed that the two sides had discussed it. 20%, 20% it is. Serenade reluctantly agreed. This time the loss was big, and he didn't know when he could earn it back. The slaves sadly began to distribute the goods. Just as the other party was about to succeed, an eagle cry suddenly resounded from the sky. Two eagles were circling in the sky. At the sight of the two eagles, a person beside Serenade immediately took out a tube from his bosom and said to Serenade, "That's right. Master, when we came here, young Master Han gave me this. He said that if I saw the eagles, I should light it. They prepared it in advance. Should we light it now? It should be their eagles, right? Why didn't you say so earlier? Hurry up, damn it, 20%? That's not even 10%. Serenade was like suddenly finding a clear spring after being thirsty in the desert for 2 days. He cursed and hurriedly asked the people around him to light the fire. He also quietly told the slaves to slow down. In fact, the slaves were already very slow, who would be willing to give their things to others for free. They were there to pick and choose, keeping the valuable ones and giving away the worthless ones. As the fireworks rose into the sky, the two eagles let out a long cry, flapped their wings a few times, and quickly flew away. When the other two sides saw the situation, they knew that something bad was going to happen. The person who came first immediately shouted to Serenade, "Hurry up, leave the animals behind. Don't try to delay, others can't manage here." The others he was talking about were naturally one of the Tang Empire. Everyone had tacitly agreed that the Jinchuan Empire would be in charge. This was not the other side, and they hadn't crossed the river yet. Okay, hurry up, you guys, leave the animals behind too." Serenade cooperated and said. The slaves were not stupid, and they knew what their master meant. They moved faster, but the goods they moved became less and less each time. It seemed that they didn't waste time, but that was not the case at all. The people on both sides didn't dare to get closer to take a look. Once they did, they would not be cavalrymen, and their horses would become a burden. They could only wait at a suitable place for charging. Two people wanted to get closer to take a look, but they were stopped by Serenade's people, who were afraid that they would come over and hurt their master. This delay lasted for more than an hour. Just when the people on both sides were impatient, the goods were finally loaded. Serenade anxiously looked in the direction of the Jinchuan Empire. Seeing that no one was coming, he helplessly waved his hand, indicating that the troops should move. There was still some distance between here and the other side. Even if the other side sent people over, they couldn't arrive immediately. They still had to cross the river. Just as the team was about to set off, 8 eagles flew down from the sky. Every 2 eagles had a person under them. If one looked carefully with binoculars, they would see that the 2 people were holding a rope, and there was a person hanging from the rope. 8 eagles, for people, flew over just like that. The people in the sky had already taken out their binoculars and observed the situation from above. 2 people blew a few whistles, and the eagles, flying with them, gradually lowered their altitude. When they were dozens of meters away from the ground, one of the 2 people shouted to the people below, "Who dares to steal my wife's partner? Do you want to die?" In fact, he didn't know whether it was stealing or not. He just guessed and asked. The people who had just caught up with them became nervous when they saw the eagles and the people in the sky. They mustered up their courage and replied, "This is not the east side of the Jinchuan Empire. You don't seem to be able to control it. But you want to deal with our ally, so you can control it. Is that Serenade Prince down there? Take the goods and people and move forward. Let's see who dares to make a move." The people in the sky turned around and shouted to the people below. Serenade let out a long breath and suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed. "Ha ha ha. Ally, I, Serenade, will remember it. What are you waiting for? Take the goods and animals and move forward. The people above, they took 20% of my goods." Serenade was very happy. He glanced at the people on both sides disdainfully and began to move forward while shaking his head. The people who caught up with them were dumbfounded. There was no need to mention the regret in their hearts. If they had known this would happen, they would have taken more goods last night. What should they do now? The question was whether to take the goods or not. The people in the sky were, of course, not afraid that they couldn't win. There were only 4 people in total. If they wanted to fight, they could easily kill Serenade. There were more than 500 riders on both sides. But what should they do after they took the goods? The eagles could fly in the sky. If they didn't take the goods back, they could only wander around outside. Once they took the goods back, wouldn't they be exposed? At that time, Wang Wan could easily send troops again for revenge. The people in the sky didn't intend to let them go so easily. They shouted, so the Tubo people dared to attack our ally at will. Good, I remember what you look like. Wait for my wife to bring the troops over and be questioned. Humph. Let's go. After leaving these words, the whistle sounded again. The 8 eagles took the 4 people and flew back. They didn't mention the 10% of goods that each of them took. He deliberately didn't mention it. It was just that Serenade lost 20% of the goods. Now he finally found an excuse to go back and tell the young master and young lady. Whether the 2 of them wanted economic sanctions or military coercion, it didn't matter to him. 20% of the goods in exchange for such a good excuse was worth it. Seeing the eagles fly away, Serenade was a little worried. He ordered the troops to hurry up and arrange the slaves with weapons to guard at the back. The 2 groups of people who caught up with them looked at each other. They were no longer as relaxed as they were at the beginning. They watched Serenade's troops leave, but no one dared to chase after them. The 10% of goods that they took was also hot. The people who came later asked the people on this side, why don't we join forces and kill all of Serenade's people? Anyway, we have already offended Wang Wan. Why don't we be straightforward? Okay, you go and kill them. I will cover. The people on this side agreed. Why don't you do it? You have more people, so you should do it. The other side was not stupid. Why don't we do it together? Together? Together. Then let's go. Yes, you go too. Chapter 737. The road was still under repair. After rushing for half a day, Li Linfu finally arrived outside the yamen of Baoxing County. He saw the newly built houses built by the relocated people. They were very good. He also asked the other people here. They said that after the road was repaired, all the houses in the county would be rebuilt after the autumn harvest this year. They had to be built the same and look neat. When Li Linfu arrived at the entrance of the yamen, he deliberately looked at the notice of income and expenditure. The more he looked at it, the more shocked he was. As a registrar, he knew that the things on the notice of Baoxing County should be true. But why did they have to let the people know so thoroughly? It was like wearing only a thin layer of gauze that was not supposed to be seen by others. It was too transparent. If the officials in the county told the people about their plans in the future, then there would be no secrets at all. Li Linfu stood there and looked. No one paid much attention to him. There were many officials here to visit and learn. Who would care about him? After thinking about it, Li Linfu did not directly enter the yamen. Instead, he walked towards the place with the model. There were 2 important people there that he should meet, Bai Go and Yao Cheng. He also wanted to take this opportunity to learn more. There were such models in the palace. If one day the emperor was happy and asked someone, he would be able to answer. When entering the tourist area, ordinary people did not have to pay the entrance fee. However, it was different for officials. Based on their ranks, each official had to pay 20 to 100 copper coins for the visit. This money was not taken for free. The people did not have to pay. They just wanted to see the excitement and novelty. However, when it was the turn of the officials, there were people here who specifically talked about the officials. For example, the population of a certain place, the degree of governance, and so on. The data given was very accurate. At the same time, The officials, who paid 100 copper coins, showed that their positions were important. There were also other things for them to see, such as the future development of various places and how to deal with disasters. 100 copper coins was really not expensive to learn such things. Li Linfu also paid 100 copper coins and let the tour guide him in. Along the way, he carefully listened to other people's explanations and tried his best to remember, afraid that he would forget. Just as his head was about to explode from memorizing, the tour guide suddenly said to him, "Lord Li, in fact, what I just said has already been printed into a booklet. If you want, you can buy it for 10 copper coins. There are a total of 6 sets, divided into 6 parts, and each set costs 10 copper coins. When the time comes, Lord Li can go back and read it easily." As soon as Li Linfu heard that there were 6 divisions, he understood that it should be one of the 6 divisions. As for why there were no 3 divisions, it was because his level was not high enough, so there was no need for him to understand. She glared at the tour guide in dissatisfaction and complained in her heart that the tour guide didn't tell her earlier. Her eyes hurt from remembering it. She said, "Give me one of each." "Is it thick?" "What's thick?" the tour guide asked in confusion. "Is the paper thick?" "It's not thick. It's all thin paper. If it was thick, it would be too heavy." Am I asking too much or not? Li Linfu felt that this tour guide was a little stupid. "Oh, that's what Mr. Li is asking. It's not bad. It costs a lot of money, so it won't make much money," the tour guide replied. After hearing the tour guide's explanation, Li Linfu understood that the Zhang family and the Wang family probably made a lot of money from this information. How much would it cost to buy 6 servings for 60 copper coins? At most, it would be 20 copper coins or less. The rest of the money would be profit. Yes, that's right. With Zhang Xiaobao's calculation, he definitely wouldn't let go of such a money-making opportunity easily. As Li Linfu listened and walked, he relaxed and really felt that this model was well made. When he walked to the front, he saw many people gathered there. Some people even made friendly noises from time to time. Puzzled, he asked the tour guide, "What's going on over there?" "Nothing, just follow me. Mr. Bai and the others are telling a story over there. It's all fake. There's no need to go over." The tour guide signaled Li Linfu to follow her. Li Linfu came to see these 2 key figures and was counting on them to help him put in a good word. How could he miss this opportunity? He didn't care about the tour guide and walked over. At this time, Old Man Pai was telling the exciting part of the story. Old Man Chang had also changed 6 weapons. He was so tired that his whole body was covered in sweat. Someone beside him bought him a cup of good tea to drink. If you want to know what's going to happen, listen to the next segment. Old Man Pai was also thirsty, so he quickly stopped. He picked up the cup of tea and gulped down a few mouthfuls. At this time, he wasn't as elegant as he usually was when drinking tea. "Is this Mr. Bai? This humble one is Li Linfu. I heard that Mr. Bai was here, so I specially came to meet him." Li Linfu first greeted Old Man Pai. He had already started to bow. Then, he greeted Old Man Chang and Old Man Yao. Although Old Man Chang didn't have much of a status, Li Linfu didn't have much of a status. Old Man Pai heard Li Linfu's self-introduction and knew who he was. "Oh, so you're the registrar of Xin Kai County. Good, you look like an upright person." Old Man Bai's words were very pleasant to hear. However, no one knew what Old Man Bai was thinking. Li Linfu didn't expect him to speak the truth. It was fine as long as he could achieve his goal. He said, "Mr. Bai, you flatter me. This humble one doesn't have much ability. I just want to make the lives of the local people better, so I'm satisfied." Before this humble one came, I talked with County Magistrate Bai and put up a notice that I want to build a river for Baoxing County. However, this humble one heard that there was some misunderstanding between County Magistrate Feng and County Magistrate Zhang and County Magistrate Wang, so I had to come personally to mediate. After all, the 2 counties are adjacent to each other, so it's better to work together. After he finished speaking, Li Linfu looked at Old Man Yao. Seeing him look over, Old Man Yao followed his words and said, It's great that you can think this way. In the future, you have to put in more effort in the 2 counties. You said it was a misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? It shouldn't be. Otherwise, why would Xiao Bao and Cuckoo ask Commandery Prince Tang and to build a workshop there? I'm overthinking. Since I'm here, I'll take a good look. As soon as Old Man Yao heard Li Lingfu's words, he knew what he meant. He wanted the 3 of them to help mediate. How could that be possible? Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had already decided on something. If others could easily change it, then they wouldn't be the 2 of them. Seeing that the other party didn't admit it, Li Lingfu had to tell the 3 old men everything that Feng Changgong said to him. After he finished, he showed a troubled expression and said, "Mr. Bai, County Magistrate Feng. County Magistrate Feng already knows that County Magistrate Feng is wrong. As the saying goes, nothing is better if you can change. Why don't you give him a chance? After all, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan are still young. Many things can be done in a short time. Why don't you 2 help to persuade them? Also, Uncle Zhang has to worry about it. This humble one wants to thank the 3 of you on behalf of the people of Xian Kai County." There's actually such a thing? It'll probably be difficult. When have Xiao Bao and Cuckoo ever suffered such a loss? Let me think. How about this? You go and talk to Xiao Bao and Cuckoo first. Later, I'll help to say a few words. It's just a few words. I don't know if it'll work or not. Old Man Chang looked surprised. It was as if he didn't know before. Although he agreed, he didn't make a promise. Li Lingfu, who knew that he couldn't be sure, had no other choice. He apologized and left. He went to the Yamen to look for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. After waiting for him to leave, Old Man Bai and the other 2 found a quiet place to sit down. They asked someone to bring them good tea. As they ate their melon seeds and tea, they began to talk about Li Lingfu, who had come over today. In my opinion, this person is 100 times better than Feng Changgong. He handles things properly and acts steadily. He's also a rare talent. It's a pity that he's still too young. He thinks that just because he has some ability, he can do everything well. How could Xiao Bao and Cuckoo help him? They've already agreed to Zhang Shuo and decided he Yiwei's position as the next official. Does Li Lingfu think that he can change their minds with just a few words? Young, he's really young. Old Man Pai poured a cup of tea for Old Man Chang. He didn't care about Old Man Chang. It was a waste for Old Man Chang to drink tea. A little bit of jasmine tea would be fine. He evaluated Li Lingfu. Old Man Yao also felt that this matter couldn't be done. He said, "The most important thing is that Xiao Bao and Cuckoo want to teach Feng Changgong a lesson. After all, they're still young. It's easy for people to look down on them. If they don't teach Feng Changgong a lesson this time, there will be other officials who will dare to go against them in the future. In the past, Zhang family and Wang family were powerful, but that was their business. Now that Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are officials, of course, they have to have their own prestige. Feng Changgong is the chicken that was killed to show the monkeys. It's a pity that he doesn't know it yet and bumped into the knife's edge. As for Li Lingfu, I think he's a traitor and loyal person. If he's used well, he'll be very handy. If he's not used well, then he'll be a disaster. Sigh." At this time, Li Lingfu, who didn't know that he was called a traitor and loyal person, came to the Yamen. He said something to the Yamen runner at the door and gave him his name token. Then he went inside and waited. There was a room specially provided for visitors. There were tea and pastries in it. It was mainly for the people. The people couldn't just go to the drum when they had something to do. It was a tool for cases. At first, Li Lingfu thought that it was a signing room. Later, he met 2 people sitting there and chatting in a low voice. Then, he realized that it was not the case at all. It was a very interesting room for the people to rest. Hearing their conversation, Li Lingfu knew why they were here. They were both residents of Shangniu village, and they were also neighbors. They discovered that a small river in Shangniu village was blocked by mud, and there was also a piece of sandy land beside it. The 2 people wanted to clear the silt and get the silt on top of the sandy land. This way, they would have a good piece of land. However, they had to solve a problem. The sandy land was high. The villagers could clear the silt, but it would take a lot of effort to use water. They wanted to ask the Yamen to lend them some money to build a water wheel there. In the future, they would slowly return the money when the land produced. Listening to the two of them discussing matters, Li Linfu found it even more strange. The people here were too bold. They actually came to the Yamen to borrow money to build the water wheel. At the same time, he praised the people here for their ideas. If it were the people in other places, they could only watch as the land and river were built. After waiting for a while, Li Linfu didn't see Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Instead, it was He Wei. He Wei had finished most of his work today. When he heard that there were people from Shangyu village who came to borrow money, he came to take a look. At the same time, he helped Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to pass on a message to Li Linfu. As soon as he entered, he saw a person wearing an official's uniform. He asked, "Lord Li, I am He Wei from Baoxing County. Registrar Zhang and Deputy Wang asked me to pass on a message. They said that they would like to invite Lord Li to rest at Fengwu Pavilion first. They have more important things to do. After they are done, they will come over and invite Lord Li to have a meal together. They asked the two of them to stay here." These are the names they sent back. They said that when Lord Li comes to the restaurant, you will be able to eat good food. They will only be free at night. Li Linfu originally thought that it was just an excuse. However, when he saw the names of the two people, he knew that it wasn't the case. He took the names and said, "It's my duty. The county affairs are important." Even though it was important, he didn't want to leave. He wanted to see if the two people from Shangyu village could borrow money. It was the first time he met them, so he was curious. "Nioda, Nio Zhuang, the two of you want to borrow money?" He Wei didn't chase them away. There was nothing that couldn't be told to others. Whoever was willing to listen could listen. It wasn't a secret that couldn't be known by others. He asked the two people who had already stood up, "Lord, you know us?" Nio De said happily, "Yes. A few days ago, the two of you came over to deliver coal. I asked the two of you before. How could I forget? I heard that your father is sick. I don't know if he is better. I am just too busy. Otherwise, I would have taken the time to visit your father." He Wei said politely. He didn't have any other skills, but he remembered people very well. As long as he met them once, he would know them the next time he met them. He then asked about Nioda's father's condition. Nioda was so excited that he didn't know where to put his hands. He grabbed his trousers and nodded. "He is fine. It's the same as before. It's all thanks to the doctor sent by the county. Lord, you are a good official." "What's so good about that?" "It's just my duty. If you want to talk about good officials, you have to look at Registrar Zhang and Deputy Wang. They are the truly capable officials." He Wei was happy to be called a good official. He modestly gestured for them to sit back down. He also sat down and asked about borrowing money. "What kind of water wheel do you want to build? Can it be built there? How much will it cost? How long will it take to return it?" "I can't lend it to you just because you want to." "Lord, can we really lend it to you?" "As long as you answer, we can lend it to you. How much will it cost?" Nio Zhuang thought that he couldn't borrow money this time. This was the first time he thought of this idea. He came here with the idea of giving it a try. Li Linfu also looked at He Wei. He wanted to know from He Wei whether he could borrow money or not. If he borrowed money, he would be breaking the law. The government was the government. How could they lend money to the people casually? He Wei still had a calm expression. He said to the two of them, "You can borrow money, but you can't borrow from the government. The government's money belongs to all the people in the county, but it doesn't belong to any one of them. What if you can't return the money when they lend it to you? Even if you use the land as collateral, you can't do it. When the time comes, you still have to sell the land. There is an additional process. This is not an administrative action, but an economic action. Do you understand?" The two of them didn't know anything about administration and economics, but they understood that the government wouldn't give them money. They lowered their heads and didn't say anything. When He Yi-Wei saw the two of them like this, he continued, "The government won't give you money, but there are other people who are willing to. The government is willing to help you get a 3-year interest-free loan. You know about loans, right? There are loans in Suzhou, Sanshui County, and Huaiyuan County. This money will be provided by the tourism model area. It's called Baoxin County Employment Assistance Fund. The government will be the guarantor. You will sign a document with this fund and put your fingerprint. If you can't return the money after 3 years, then your new land and water wheel will be taken back for the fund. There is no interest in agriculture, but if it's business, there will be a small profit." Then, isn't this Gene guy stupid? He gave the money to others for free. Nyoda thought for a while and thought of a key point. If they weren't in Baoxin County, he would have thought that the county magistrate was lying to him. Li Lingfu also thought so. Who would be so stupid to not give the money to others? He perked up his ears and listened carefully. He wanted to see how He Yi-Wei would explain. He Yi-Wei smiled and said, "How can they be stupid? If they take out this money, then whatever they do in the future, the county will give them priority." Originally, there was another point, which was to use the profits to offset the tax. However, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo rejected it, saying that it would be easy to be impeached. So we changed the point, which is that the government will be the guarantor and open a bank for them. They won't collect taxes from them for the first 5 years. They will use this part of the profits to exchange for an interest-free loan. So, you have to make things clear. They need to do a risk assessment. If they think it's okay, they will lend you money. They will even send someone to guide you on how to do it. This time, Nyoda and Nyo Zhuang heard it clearly. They said that the loss of the Gene guy would be compensated on the other side. Regardless of how the government would compensate them, at least they could borrow money. So, Nyoda began to talk about their specific plan and introduced the situation to He Yi-Wei in detail. Before he finished, He Yi-Wei interrupted him. "It's not like that. There is a format. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are working on this. In fact, even if you didn't come today, you would see this message on the bulletin board at the entrance of the government office tomorrow. They said that they have used this method in other places before. That method can be used in emergencies, but it is not formal and needs to be specially proposed. You can either wait here or go home first. Come back tomorrow and fill in the form according to the format. They will send someone to take a look. It won't take long. Shall we wait?" Nyoda asked Nyo Zhuang. "Yes, sir. We will wait here." Nyo Zhuang felt that he would not feel at ease if he did not tell them the truth. He chose to wait. Anyway, there was food and drinks here, which was part of the government office's normal reception fee. There was no need to rush back to eat. Li Lingfu was also thinking about this matter. He was not like Nyoda and Nyo Zhuang, who did not care about long-term matters. He had a lot to consider. Would the establishment of this so-called fund be everywhere in the future? A fund with a bank. Then, there would be a bank in many places in the future. What were they going to do? A bank, as the name suggested, was a place to put money and borrow money. For example, flying money was used in this way, but it was not commonly used. Now, if ordinary people wanted to borrow money, they could not go to a place that specialized in exchanging money. Instead, they could go to a pawn shop. It seemed that this bank could provide a way for ordinary people to borrow money in the future. This matter was not that simple. There must be a deeper meaning. Since Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan brought it up, it might be a big matter. He had to tell the higher-ups as soon as possible so that they would not miss this good opportunity. Li Lingfu thought. Now he just faintly felt that this matter was not simple, but he could not pinpoint the specific details. Seeing that other people's matters were settled, he got up and left. He also asked when Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would be able to settle the matter of the fund. He also came to take a look and did not have to wait in the Fengwu Pavilion. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were in their own room at the back, perfecting the loan matter. Because this industry was also a new one, they had to consider what should be considered, especially the bank. Once it was opened everywhere in the Tang Empire, it would not be as simple as helping people to exchange change or get money. It was not only money that could be exchanged for gold and silver, but also the function of lending and saving. Of course, it was easy to open a bank now. If people kept a lot of money here, not only did they not have to pay interest, but they also had to take out a part of it as a storage fee. If they could lose money, then the person who opened the bank was really an idiot. Wang Wan was thinking about it, and so was Zhang Xiaobao. Both of them had their own ideas. When the time came, they would integrate the advantages and disadvantages. After Wang Wan wrote a few lines, she asked, "You really don't want to pay interest to people who save money?" "Not now. We will talk about it after opening a few more banks." The advantage of not paying interest is that we can take less risks, but we can lower the interest in the early stage according to other places like this. It will be fine as long as it is very small. The disadvantage is that the speed of accumulating circulating funds is slow. If we give others interest instead of asking them to pay for it, many people will be willing to deposit the money in the bank. The more money we deposit, the more people will adapt to it. Then, we will have more funds to use. Zhang Xiaobao stopped writing and replied, "I know. As long as there is no situation of a bank run, then a large amount of money will be ours. We can always use it without worry. The larger the base, the more stable we will be. I am afraid that someone will deliberately play tricks and deposit a large amount of money first, then withdraw a large amount of money in a foreign place. In that case, when we have insufficient funds in the early stage, there will be a shortage of funds in another place. But it won't do if we restrict the withdrawal of large amounts of money, because many people are like this. They are preparing to do a big business and are afraid that it will be dangerous to carry cash. So they spend a small part of the money in the bank. As long as it is cheaper than hiring bodyguards, then it will be profitable." Wang Wan frowned slightly. Who asked there to be no electronic business here? If there was, it would be good. Chapter 738. Even after an entire afternoon, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were still unable to figure out how to operate a bank. For example, how to monitor their subordinates, and how to prevent forgeries from occurring if they were to deposit and withdraw money from another country. In fact, the current communication conditions were even better. They could still cheat when they needed to, and they couldn't just rely on loyalty at this moment. The two of them decided to put aside the matter of depositing and withdrawing money. Instead, they planned to open a bank to provide small loans. After that, they started to deal with the funds. This was simple for the time being. With the two of them around, there wouldn't be any mistakes in their evaluation. However, that could be dealt with in the future. The only way to avoid risks was to intentionally lower the value of the other party's collateral. In fact, it wasn't much different from a pawn shop. "Xiaobao, I feel that there's a flaw in the current use of silk in Great Tang. To think that it can be used as a currency. Not only is the storage fee of silk high, it is also prone to spoilage. Silk should have depreciated as it is damaged, but due to the storage fee, it actually has to appreciate in value to match the value of the currency. This is especially so for the imperial court. In order to guarantee the value of the silk, they actually intentionally gave 200 copper coins during the exchange, using another currency to guarantee the value of one currency. If this continues for a long time, it will be troublesome." Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao explained on the way to meet Nyoda and Niu Zhuang. Zhang Xiaobao had long known about this matter, but he couldn't do anything about it. This was what the imperial court wanted to do. After hesitating for a moment, he said to Wang Wan, "There are two ways to solve this problem. First, we can report the flaws to Li Longji. He should know about it by now, but we still have to insist on it and scare him. After that, we'll think of a way to prevent counterfeiting. In fact, there are counterfeits in any era. We can't always rely on the anti-counterfeiting technology of the currency and the user's understanding of the currency to solve this problem. We should do it from a system perspective. Of course, it's best to use electronic currency. This way, even ordinary people can avoid danger." What's the other solution? Wang Wan knew that the first solution was useless, so she asked about the second one. Zhang Xiaobao softened his voice. The second solution is for me to take action. Within 3 months, I will let Li Longji know the price of using silk as currency. Even something as durable as gold can still be used as currency, let alone silk. Right now, the Great Tang doesn't use much silver, and it's usually used for large amounts of currency calculations and official statistics. The normal currency used is brass and silk. If I were to attack it, silk would immediately become worthless. What do you think? What's this called? It's called the throes of reform. No, when the time comes, you won't just be impacting the currency itself, but the lives of the people. Whether it directly affects the money of the people or the merchants, in the end, it will all be passed on to the people. Tell me, how many merchants will go bankrupt if you attack them? How many people started their careers? And how many people have reduced the impact of currency shocks by squeezing their own workers? You should go and attack Tubo. The Great Tang is not allowed to attack, definitely not. Don't you have a gentler method? Wang Wan firmly rejected Zhang Xiaobao's idea. The current currency system was already unstable, and if Zhang Xiaobao were to make a move, it would be over. There was no need to doubt if Xiaobao could do it. It was too simple. And she could do it herself, just that the impact would be weaker. Then forget it. I'll think of another way. Gentle, right? The kind that moistens things silently. The problem is that the value of copper coins is too high now, and it's not the value of copper itself. After a gram of copper is made into a copper coin, the value produced can be equivalent to 2 grams of copper. That's why many people want to privately make copper coins. Also, some people look similar to the copper coins now, but they try to add other things or reduce the weight. This won't do. It's not like the Song Dynasty, where copper was expensive and money was cheap. That's why many people melted the copper coins and turned them into copper to make things easier. Zhang Xiaobao was worried. It was all because the anti-counterfeiting technology was not up to standard. They had to first get something that others couldn't get as currency. The value of this currency was very cheap, and only this way could they reduce the impact of the currency on the market. Wang Wan also lowered her head. After a while, she said, "Why don't we try to make alloys? It would be great if we can refine oil into plastic. We can keep this technology a secret and draw patterns on the plastic. No one knows how to make money, so we can't fake it. As long as we have enough gold, silver, and copper, we can release currency. Once a new currency is released, what we need to consider is not the impact of the currency's value on the market, but the supervision. If the court is short of money, we can release a small amount of currency to make the currency depreciate slightly. In fact, there's no need to do that now. Only stupid people would do that. Looking at history, all the dynasties that did that were all finished. At most, we can borrow some money to pass the time. When the time comes, we can slowly devalue it. We can't devalue it twice or twice at once. Well, that's a dream. Let's first open banks everywhere, limit the amount of withdrawals, develop logistics, and let the money be sent to the place faster. When the time comes, we can cooperate with others to do business and let the upper bunks accept this currency. It's a mess. Let me think about it at night. It involves too many things. Zhang Xiaobao really couldn't think of anything, so he put aside for the time being. At this time, 2 people came to the reception room. Niu Da and Niu Zhuang had eaten a lot. They were holding their stomachs and had a look of happiness on their faces. It was very contradictory. He Yi-Wei was also holding a book and accompanying them at the side. Anyway, he had nothing to do, so he could rest wherever he went. It was a good opportunity for him to interact more with the people here and get familiar with them. Li Linfu was also here. He went to the Fengwu Pavilion and had a meal there. He couldn't stay there anymore. He kept thinking about the Employment Assistance Fund of Buxin County and wanted to know more about the bank. He wanted to know how to get more benefits from it and how big the impact would be in the end. Come, take 2 Dashin pills. If you eat too much next time, don't worry about it. Did you encounter something that doesn't cost you money? Zhang Xiaobao stood at the door and noticed the situation inside. He gave an order and then said to Niu De and Niu Zhuang, it's okay. I actually had turtle soup for lunch. It's so nutritious, so I drank a little more. I also ate 2 more steamed buns. This turtle soup is really good. I haven't eaten it since I was young. The honest Niu De said while rubbing his stomach. Zhang Xiaobao was stunned. He was the one who made the turtle soup, and there was still a lot left. He was going to heat it up and eat it, but he didn't expect it to be moved here. He turned his head and looked at He Wei. County Magistrate He, Lord He, do you still have the seaweed and sparrow soup I made for Xiaobei? Yes. I know you made it for Xiaobei. No one dares to touch it. That turtle soup is really nutritious. My body is still warm now. He Wei quickly replied. If there was a misunderstanding, Xiaobei would blink his big eyes and stare at him for a day. Zhang Xiaobao thought to himself, isn't this nonsense? Who would drink turtle soup in the summer? There's no ice basin in this house, only a fan connected to the top that doesn't turn at all. It would be strange if it's not hot. Niu De, fill in this form. If you don't know how to read, I'll explain it to you one by one. Oh, since County Magistrate he is going to explain it personally. Then let County Magistrate he do it. Zhang Xiaobao retaliated against He Wei and brought over a set of forms. The contents were very detailed and needed to be filled in. Then he would send someone to investigate and see if he could provide interest-free loans to the other party. The matter of the bank was not mature yet, and there was no competition. Otherwise, he would add another condition, which was that the bank had to give money to the person who borrowed it in installments. Moreover, this person or company could only choose their own bank to deposit money in. That way, the local government wouldn't have to give other banks other benefits. He Wei drank the soup made by Zhang Xiaobao, so he could only help. He took the set of forms and began to explain them to Niu De and Niu Zhuang. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't care about this matter anymore. After the 2 of them filled in the forms, they would send someone to take a look tomorrow. Facing Li Linfu, Zhang Xiaobao said, I'm really sorry to have made Lord Li wait. Why don't we go to the Fengwu Pavilion for a meal? Li Linfu had already leaned over to look the forms. When he heard Zhang Xiaobao's words, he hesitated and said, Okay, but I also want to learn about this fund. I wonder if Registrar Zhang can give me a set of forms as well? I'll think about it carefully. Maybe it can be used in Xian Kai County. Li Linfu didn't introduce his official position. He believed that with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's ability, they would have already investigated his 8 generations of ancestors. As a neighboring county of Baoxing County, every move in Xian Kai County couldn't escape Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's eyes. Zhang Xiaobao thought about it and felt that this kind of thing couldn't be kept secret. So he nodded and said, Okay, I'll go get a set. If there's anything that Lord Li doesn't know, you can ask during the meal. Wang Wan, who had looked at Li Linfu, felt that this legendary powerful person was just SOSO. She didn't see anything special about him. Moreover, everyone said that he was good-looking, but she didn't know who had such a bad view of beauty. He was just an ordinary person. He was just a bit more handsome, had a good temperament, spoke more elegantly, looked more pleasing to the eye, and acted more appropriately. Therefore, Wang Wan didn't talk to Li Linfu at all. She just stood beside Zhang Xiaobao. The 3 of them went out. Li Linfu ordered the people who came with him to find a place to rest. Then he went to the Fengwu Pavilion again with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. The 3 of them found a round table. There weren't so many horizontal and vertical bars to distinguish their identities. They casually ordered 2 dishes and asked someone to warm a pot of wine. The 3 of them began to eat. Li Linfu had just finished eating not too long ago, so he couldn't eat anything else. He just drank wine and ate some cold dishes. He didn't immediately mention Feng Changgong from Xian Kai County to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Instead, he watched the 2 of them eat and pondered the meaning of the table. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were starving. Thinking about things took a lot of brain power, so they didn't stand on ceremony with Li Lingfu at all. They ate without holding back, smacking their lips as they talked. One moment they would talk about this dish, and the next moment they would talk about that dish. The things on the table were written very clearly. As long as one was literate and had some foundation, they could easily understand it. Therefore, Li Lingfu didn't need to ask Zhang Xiaobao to understand it. There were a total of 6 pages of content. After flipping through 3 pages, Li Lingfu wanted to find a topic to talk to Zhang Xiaobao. However, seeing the two of them eating like this, he could only hold back. He was more interested in the dish that the two of them were talking about. This couldn't be blamed on Li Lingfu, because he didn't know how to cook. Occasionally, he would cook a little. It was okay for him to eat it himself. He felt that the taste was good, but when he asked others to eat it, no one said that it was good. The best comment he got was, "Okay, it's edible." At this time, when he heard the professional words of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, he was very envious. He felt that it was a pity that the two of them were officials. They should be cooks. That way, many people could eat their fill. It was a pity that he didn't get to drink the turtle soup that Zhang Xiaobao personally made in the Fengwu Pavilion today. As for the taste, he could tell by looking at the appearance of Niu Zhuang, and He Yiwei after eating. After eating until he was 60% full, Zhang Xiaobao stopped eating. He still wanted to drink some wine with them. After eating some cold dishes, he would be completely full. He let Wang Wan eat there by herself. Zhang Xiaobao poured himself a glass of wine and said to Li Lingfu, "Lord Li, are you here to ask about the cooperation of the 2 counties? Lord Li is good. For the sake of people, you don't care about the fatigue and come in person. Compared to that Feng Changgong, you are much better. Humph. After offending me and Cuckoo, Feng Changgong can't expect to have a good life. Not to mention that no one will intercede for him, even if someone does. Even if it is the Emperor Cuckoo, and I will ask clearly." When Li Lingfu heard the first part of Zhang Xiaobao's words, he was very happy. He thought that he had a chance to intercede for Feng Changgong. When he heard the second part of Zhang Xiaobao's words, his burning heart became cold. It seemed that even the emperor couldn't intercede for Feng Changgong. Then he was not as good as the emperor. If he continued, it seemed that he was deliberately looking for trouble. Shocked, Li Lingfu couldn't help but have doubts about what he was here to do. This half-grown child was not only good at calculating money, he was also good at talking. With just one sentence, he had shut him up. Then he looked at Wang Wan. She was still eating. She had already eaten 2 bowls of rice. How could she eat so much? In addition, Wang Wan didn't talk to him before. He guessed that it was impossible to make a breakthrough in this aspect. After thinking for a while, Li Lingfu nodded and said, "That's right. If it were someone else who became an official in Baoxin County, I would have given up on this idea. But since you and Wang Wan are here to become officials, if I don't consider it carefully, I would be letting down the people of Xinsai County. I wonder if Registrar Zhang has any ideas to improve the lives of the people of Xinsai County?" Seeing that Li Lingfu didn't mention Feng Changgong, Zhang Xiaobao didn't say anything else. He said to Li Lingfu, "There is, but not now. We have to wait until the sesame and soybean plants are done, and the 4 workshops are fully operational. It won't hurt to talk to Lord Li first. The so-called service industry includes catering, transportation, entertainment, medical care, and so on. Even if Lord Li doesn't come, Cuckoo and I will send a letter to Lord Li and Lord Chui in a few days. Cuckoo, where is the written plan? Show it to Lord Li." Wang Wan put down her chopsticks and swallowed the food in her mouth. She took out a few pieces of paper full of words from her bag and handed them to Zhang Xiaobao. After glancing at them, Zhang Xiaobao handed the paper back. "It's from Xinsai County. It's not from anywhere else. This is from Shannon East Road." "Oh, I took the wrong one." Wang Wan took it back, glanced at it, and stuffed it back into her bag. She took out another one, looked at it, shook her head, and continued to take it. It took a lot of effort to find one. Seeing this, Li Lingfu was anxious. At the same time, he was shocked. From Zhang Xiaobao's words just now, He knew that Wang Wan had many plans in her bag. The two of them were officials in Baoxing County. Why did they need to make so many plans for other places? If the officials of the places included in the plans knew about it, wouldn't they all come to Baoxing County? If they could get a plan and take it back, it would be a political achievement. How could the plans made by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan be bad? He thought that the two of them were busy and didn't have time to do other things. He didn't expect that they also made plans for many places. It was too scary. Yes, this is it. It's from Shinsai County. I put it in the compartment. Fortunately, I brought it with me. If I couldn't find it, I would have to go back and look through it to see if it was put together with the plan of Iloa. There are too many plans. I don't feel tired when working on them, but it's troublesome to organize them. Just when Li Linfu was surprised, Wang Wan finally handed a plan to Zhang Xiaobao. Hearing Wang Wan's embarrassed words, Li Linfu, who was holding the wine, couldn't help but tremble. The wine spilled. He thought that there were enough plans in the bag, but he didn't expect that there were more. It was a waste of talent for such a person not to be the prime minister. Zhang Xiaobao looked at it again and nodded. Yes, this is it. When we go back tonight, I'll organize it with you. We'll take out all the plans in the big cabinet and have someone make a cabinet full of small squares. We'll put them in order. It's best to make them better. We have to look at the plans of the prefectures. Otherwise, it'll be difficult to find them in a mess. After talking to Wang Wan, Zhang Xiaobao put the plan in his hand on the table and pushed it to Li Linfu. Lord Li, it's here. When I was working on it, I just thought about it. I haven't organized it yet, and I don't have any additional plans. Take a look and see if there are any omissions. We can discuss it slowly. There's no rush. This plan is a little rough. It's just a rough idea. Li Linfu took the plan and began to read it page by page. It described what kind of boxed lunches would sell well at the docks of Shinsai County, how to divert water to build a swimming pool, and how to provide massage facilities. It also described the suitable size of the docks. It also described the loading and unloading of goods according to the pulley blocks of the little Luoshui docks. There was also how to build the road from the county center to the docks, how to build pavilions on the road, how to sell local specialties, and so on. There were a total of 22 pages, and the words were very small. This was the rough development plan of Shinsai County. It made Zhang Xiaobao feel that there were no additional plans and emergency measures, so he was too embarrassed to take it out. Li Linfu suddenly had an idea to end his life. It even included the words to put more green onions in the box lunches and to put them in when the pot was ready to be served. This was because boaters often came into contact with water, and it was very cold. If this was considered rough, then what was considered not rough? No wonder the emperor didn't allow others to impeach the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He only allowed civil and military officials to praise Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. If he had such a subordinate, he would probably do the same. What was there to be afraid of if there were some small problems? He could really be reassured when he made arrangements for things. Li Linfu carefully put away the proposal and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "This is just Registrar Zhang helping me. I wonder if there's anything I can do to help Baoxing County?" A proposal was a political achievement, so Li Linfu had to lower himself to return the favor. "Cuckoo, take out the proposal for the cooperation between the two counties." Zhang Xiaobao said to Wang Wan. Wang Wan suddenly froze and quickly rummaged through her bag. I didn't bring it. It should be with Jiangnan East Road. If it wasn't with Jiangnan West Road, it definitely wouldn't be with Huainan Road. Officially, I'm sorry. I was in too much of a hurry today and didn't bring it with me. How about we discuss this cooperation tomorrow morning during breakfast? Officially, why don't you stay here tonight? Zhang Xiaobao looked at Wang Wan helplessly and said to Li Linfu. Wang Wan pouted, feeling wronged. Li Linfu's desire to find the crooked tree with a rope became stronger. He forced a smile and said, Okay. I'll stay in Fengwu Pavilion tonight. I'll go find you tomorrow morning. Then cuckoo, and I have to go back. Bebe's arm is broken, so it's probably time for dinner. I have to go back and warm bone soup for her. This little sister is so troublesome. Zhang Xiaobao gulped down the wine in his cup, took a bite of a cucumber, and whimpered. Wang Wan also drank a mouthful of soup, wiped her mouth, and stood up. Li Lingfu walked Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan out of the restaurant. Then he stood there and looked at the red clouds in the west. He felt bored and turned back to the room he was in just now. He took out the Employment Assistance Fund form and the proposal for Shinsai County and looked at them a few times. He looked up and sighed, murmuring, "How can we compete? They seem to be good at playing tricks and doing things. I have to write a letter back to Beijing and tell them not to offend Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan." You're tuning in to the Echo Reads YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.